Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo, and this is MeWe Fairs for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest, many online, and tonight is our Online Awakening panel. We have themes for our panels, and tonight's theme is love. We're close to that time of year when lots of things around love are happening. Lots of people are talking about it. It's all over the place. And so it's a time to approach love and relationship. Tonight, we're doing it from the perspective of asking, is love, is relationship a path for spiritual unity for you? Is it a way for you to fulfill your mission? Or is it something that's getting in the way, that's actually blocking you? It could be past lessons, past life lessons, all kinds of different things that could be showing up that are in play right now. They could be supportive in helping you move through things or really blocking and getting in your way. There are just all kinds of ways that this can work. We have different specialties that we'll be bringing to the event tonight. Oh, great. And Masha is joining us right now. And we look so forward to exploring this topic with you and answering your questions. What we'll do, and let's get Masha up in here too. We will, Masha, if you turn on your video, I'll get you up here on the spotlight also. We'll be introducing ourselves first. Let's introduce ourselves in a more general way first, and then let's talk about the theme after that as much as we can. Sometimes our work it's so mixed up in who we are and what we do, and I think that's Masha and I, that's probably more true for us than it is for the rest of you. But so let's introduce ourselves and see how much we can talk generally about ourselves first and our work, and then we'll talk about the theme. And it's great. Masha and I are the last ones, so that might be the blending into talking about the theme also. All right. Well, Dr. Boston, you're first, and you've got 2 to 3 minutes. So go ahead, take your time and tell us about all of what you do.
Okay. I'm Dr. Boston Carter. I have a degree in depth psychology, though I'm not a licensed therapist. So I offer coaching and consulting services to help you learn how to love yourself. I've developed an Adept to Life program that is designed to help you go through the process of understanding your patterns, the things that block you, get in your way, and how to learn to love yourself a lot differently than you have in the past. I am a medical intuitive, and I've used those skills to see inside of people on all 4 planes of their unconscious, so I can find their greatness and help bring that out. And I use that to develop a model that depicts 4 patterns of perception that people are born with. So we're born with all 4, but to varying degrees, and 1 or 2 usually dominate. And those patterns are what cause a lot of our main wounds that traditionally are thought to be caused by our parents. They're actually not. So those patterns get in the way, and there's a specific way to get around them and learn how to see yourself differently. So you can either continue living as you have, and you're probably fine, or you can go forward and develop these skills to love yourself. So I'm deeply passionate about helping people do that.
Great. Thanks so much, Dr. Boston. All right. Next, we'll hear from Crystal.
Hi, I'm Crystal Novak. I'm a psychic reader, a conscious channel, and an energy worker. I've been doing this work of service for a little over 40 years. And also during that time, I had the fortune of being part of a study group that was channeled by an ascended master. So we were taught lots of different information about energy, consciousness, working with your chakras, the Hermetic doctrine, the Tree of Life, Kabbalah, etc. So combining that knowledge along with my own personal experience of doing this work has given me a depth of resource that I bring to each session that I do with an individual. As a psychic, spirit source reaches out to me to communicate with you what is the most pertinent information that you need to know in that moment. And that can come from different representations of source. That can come from the angels, that can come from your guides, it can come from passed on loved ones, it can come from teachers and masters, and so forth. So my goal is to help you understand what it is that's stopping you at this particular time, because it can change as we continue to grow. but what's in the way right now? What is it that you are wrestling with that you want to get past and have balance with so that you can move on to a more authentic expression of who you are? Because that's what I believe is what we've come here to do, is to remember who we are, remember that we are spirit having a human experience, and then how do we make our way through the human experience? And that is by looking at the different things that have impacted us as we come along. And then how do we release those things so that, again, we can come into more alignment with who we are. So I'm looking forward to this evening. We've got a great group here tonight, and be really fascinated and interesting to hear the different responses that are going to come from this evening. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Crystal. Next, we have Susy.
Hiya, I'm Susy Parker Goins of Blue Lightning Healing, and I'm a channel. So I bring source through in a variety of ways, whatever way it's going to be, to help you feel most comfortable and to relax into the energy, because it's in that flow that we find our answers and are able to heal what we need to for the moment. So I channel Michael and Mother Mary and Gaia and the dragons and all sorts of beings. And sometimes they show up and embody in me, and other times I receive messages. I also talk to ancestors. I don't argue with grandmothers, though. I just doesn't work out for me. But I look at past lives too, and a lot of agreements that we've made that impact us now can have an origin point either in the ancestral line or in a past life. Soul contracts. How many of those do we have that we have just kind of forgotten that we don't have to live by anymore? And so, love in and of itself, it's an incredible spectrum of experience. So, I don't see any reason that it can only be one way, that it's all sorts of ways, including loving yourself in that way that elevates you to a level of being more connected with Source. So, I'm looking forward to the questions this evening, to talking with everyone and hanging out with these practitioners. You can reach me at Susy, that's SUSY, at bluelightninghealing.com. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Susy. Galactic Ashley, and just a reminder, everyone, we're aiming to talk generally about who we are and what we do, and then we're going to come back and do another round all about the theme. Oh, great. Galactic Ashley and then Masha.
Sure. Okay. Is the volume okay? Is it better? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
All right, good. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. So I'm Galactic Ashley. I channel divine guidance for those seeking intimacy with the divine as Source originally intended. I use light language frequencies and work with your soul's guidance system to facilitate high frequency healing transmissions and encoded activations. I desire a world filled with leaders led by love. And as such, pretty much everything I do kind of revolves around that. And I particularly love these courses that I teach every year. The next one is the Light Language Activation and Healing Program, which starts in 2 weeks. So as far as relationships are concerned, I find that actually building relationships across, quote unquote, across the divide helps to actually learn about ourselves and to build relationships with other human beings. So I am always seeking intimacy with the divine, and where can I find and see the divine in other people and in other human relationships, which can be really challenging, particularly when trauma patterns are involved. So with that, I will hand it over to Masha.
Great. Thanks so much, Galactic Ashley. And yep, Masha, you're up next. And you've got like 2-3 minutes, so take your time.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Masha, and I'm a psychic tarot reader and a clinical hypnotherapist, and I help people to create beautiful, loving, and passionate relationships with themselves and others. And after my near-death experience, I was able to tap into spirit and channel messages, not only help people as a coach. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you got more time and everyone wants to get into all the topic of the questions. Did you want to tell us a little bit more of just like how did you start in your journey? How did you come to do all this and work with people? And
Yeah, sure. My journey started, I was in an abusive marriage, and it got really bad that it really awakened me to searching what's going on. I needed answers, and that's how I started. I became a life coach, then clinical hypnotherapist, and then 2.5 years ago, I had a near-death experience, and my psychic abilities opened up. And then it's a long journey, and it's all connected to sexual trauma that I've experienced and how I have worked on that, healing that, connecting all of that, and bringing, like, my services are like a unique dish of different modalities. I'm sure many of you can relate.
That's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, for giving us a little more context. Yeah, we've all had wild, crazy journeys that lead us to where we are. I mean, most of us, right? It's very divergent journeys. Okay, great. We've got 2 questions in line right now. I'll introduce myself and then we'll talk a bit about the theme. Well, I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. I read your eyes like I think we're all reading eyes all the time. So if you think about when you meet someone with dark sunglasses and you can't see their eyes, there's so much missing. And as soon as you see their eyes, there's so much there. We all pick up a ton about each other through our eyes. We do it subconsciously. It leads us to choose often different people. Well, it often leads us to choose similar people in our lives for all kinds of things. And I'll share more about that afterwards. But so we're all really good at reading eyes, is what I'm getting at. And I read using a set of archetypes. I know specifically what kinds of things to look for and what they mean in terms of what you naturally value and contribute, what you're here to share, what your purpose is. And so I help you better understand you and hopefully come to love you more, appreciate who you are, let go of the things that you think you should be that are not true of you so that you can express the best of what's here. So you can be on the path to express your purpose and make choices of what to do and who to do it with that will feel super fulfilling and energizing for you and also be better for everyone around you. I use body psychology, different somatic psychotherapy tools to be reading your body at the same time as I'm reading your eyes. Your eyes tell me about your soul, tell me about your lessons, and your body tells me more about your emotional state right now, some of your beliefs around things, and what comes up as you explore different kinds of topics, the general beliefs that you're carrying with you all the time. And yeah, and I'll talk more about matchmaking, but basically I read your eyes, I can read everyone else's eyes, and depending on what you're looking for, I can help you find the right eyes. So that's me. You can find out more about what I do at intuitiveeyereading.com. You can find out more about the archetypes that I'm using at thrivetypes.com. I'll put information in the chat again, including information about me this time. And thanks so much to of you that have jumped in line already. We will share a bit about the theme and we'll get right to those questions. So exciting to be with y'all. All right. So let's come back around to Dr. Boston. What do you want to say about the theme of love and how does it support us? How does it get in our way? And yeah, all kinds of things like that.
Well, it's more that fear gets in our way. It's interesting that we're born with fear. The idea that we're born of sin actually means fear, not immorality. Immorality happens when we react to the fear. And the way to counteract that is to learn how to love ourselves. And there are specific methods and ways to do that based on the pattern of perception that you're born with. So my work is to help people find love within themselves, because once you find that, you can find it anywhere else too.
Great, great. So yeah, your focus is self-love. Sounds like self-love is the pathway to all those sorts of, yeah, love. All right, great. Crystal's next.
So I believe we all are individuated aspects of the divine. And we are all like little lights that are shining everywhere. But we get kind of grimy and you can't always see everything because we get covered by different traumas, different karma that we brought in this lifetime to clear. And so sometimes it's hard to see love within ourselves, let alone see love from other people, because sometimes that light is buried kind of deeply. And you'll meet people on your path as you go that some seem more awake than others or clearer than others. But we all are made from love because we all are part of the divine. We're all cut from the same cloth. we are here to gain human experience. That's what we're here to do, is to have experience and then take it back to the collective when we're done. And in this way, the divine gets to know itself on all different levels and at all different times and all different places. I mean, close to 8 billion people on this planet, 8 billion versions of the divine. So literally, we are here also to remember also who we are, to remember our divinity. And that is a lot of the work that I think we end up doing as we walk our paths, is to clear off and clear off and clear off all that stuff that's occluding our light from being able to be seen. And I believe our first purpose is to love ourselves. You can't give what you don't have. So if you're seeking to be in relationship with someone and be in love, you've got to have love here first. Like I said, you can't give what you don't have. So what stops us from loving ourselves? We get told a lot of messages about our self-worth and about what we are and what we're not. And most of that is outwardly directed. We get a lot of programming about comparing ourselves to other people. We're supposed to be more like that over there, instead of recognizing that we're all unique and we all bring something different and amazing to the table. If you are caught in that place of competition, like you have to be better than that person in order to have any kind of worth, then you're never going to have a relationship of quality, because the only time you're going to have self-worth is if you're better than somebody else, which keeps you in this perpetual motion trap of always wondering if you're enough, and so forth, so on. So to me, again, love is what we are. It's just we got a lot of stuff in the way to get out, to clear off, so that we can experience ourselves and the wonder of who we are and how amazing we are, and how much unlimited potential we have that's limited only by our perceptions. Clear our perceptions, and then we begin to be able to relate to ourselves and recognize our own divinity. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Crystal. Next to Susy.
Hi, yeah, again. Love, it's an incredible spectrum of experience. And when I get that question from folks, like, when am I going to have a relationship? I can't answer that, because there's another person involved in that whose energy I don't have consent to check into. And so I do turn it around also, like the other practitioners, and then say, well, what do you like about yourself? And there are oftentimes people just go, oh, I knew you were going to say that. It's like, okay, let's go on and explore that. And it's more than, suckering into what society may think. I ask you to look deep down and find something about yourself that you really appreciate. But love is also looking beyond yourself and finding something, say, in the world. Do you love nature? Do you love being out there? How does something make you feel? Because love is, I feel like I'm about to go into like some Princess Bride reference, but love is the greatest powerful thing. And it is what uplifts us to a point where we can become more of our divine self. And I am actually, Galactic Ashley talked me into being on this panel, because I thought, nah, nah, nah. But past lives too, you can carry forward love there, or no love. And then I keep, soul contracts keep coming up too. What soul contract have you made, not only with yourself, but with others? So we can look at all of these things and help you clear that blockage, whatever it may be. It's frequently held in your body. So we can look at that and use whatever tools we all have at our disposal to help you find that path to love of yourself and therefore to other people. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Susy. All right, Galactic Ashley.
That's right. I did talk her into coming. Because relationships are heavily, heavily influenced by other lifetimes that we have. And it's a beautiful thing, and also sometimes actually very tragic. And I think what nobody has mentioned yet is that there's a lot of grief in love, which is not really where we place a lot of attention. I think a lot of times when people are looking for love, they're looking for love and all of the feelings that we associate with love and good feelings and all of the, you know, chemicals that get released in our brain, and then we lose the ability to think straight, and then to be in the moment. And those are all wonderful, wonderful things. And it becomes exponentially more challenging when we do meet someone that we have worked with for lifetimes, and we feel that and we know that, and for whatever reason, maybe they're not ready, maybe it's not supposed to be in this lifetime. Maybe we're only supposed to meet in this lifetime to activate each other into other remembrances, but we actually are here to maybe work by ourselves, or maybe we are here to be in partnership. And I feel like relationships can be extremely, extremely powerful. And I feel that relationships are one of like the most potent medicines that we actually experience and work with in this particular lifetime. For me, working with plants and various plant medicines, as well as with the dragons and multi-dimensional aspects of myself, quote unquote, the beings, they have taught me that they are in many ways designed to help us here to have a human experience by being basically almost like relationship surrogates, so that by building my relationships with them and learning that when I say no in the spiritual realms, no means no, it actually makes me feel safer when I'm actually trying to relate to another human. So I focus a lot of my attention in my courses and classes and working with people on not just building relationships in order to channel so that you can be outside of your body, but that you can actually build trust in yourself so that you can actually relate and have a human experience differently, so that we can actually heal these relational traumas that we've experienced in our lifetime. Because most of the traumas that we experience as humans that are the most challenging ones to heal are relationship oriented, whether they came from our primary caregivers, parent, preacher, or teacher. And so that's kind of like what my focus is and where I find sort of the joy. And we can do that by building relationships with plants, animals, multi-dimensional beings, our soul's guidance system, essentially. And I find that there's a lot of power in that. And then really truly understanding what unconditional love is, because I think it's confusing. Unconditional love can absolutely have boundaries. It's not just saying yes and sort of just getting battered because you love this person so much you'll do anything for them. So yeah, I'm really happy to be here, and happy to be here with all of the different perspectives of the people that are here.
Thanks so much, Galactic Ashley. Yeah, it's always great fun for us to see who comes together and what our perspectives all are. Masha.
Yeah, love has been the greatest catalyst in my life from a very young age. So I've learned a lot about this topic, because in a way that's what's been awakening me. And also it's the greatest and the most beautiful thing. And how everyone, I'm not sure what the specific question was, Laureli.
Oh, it's okay. It's just talking about the theme. So the theme is love in general. Yeah, and we started off saying like, is love supporting you to fulfill your mission? Is it supporting you to what did I say, to spiritual unity? Is it something that's getting in your way? There could be a specific relationship that's blocking and getting your way, or it's supporting you to learn something. And we're just like having trouble hitting our head on the tree, like not learning the lesson. There's just all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, whatever perspective you bring to love.
For sure. Yeah, my perspective is that love is a catalyst, and it shines the light on everything what's inside, and it's the greatest catalyst, and it's a hard one. And we can learn from it, or we can escape from it. And I've learned on my path to learn from it, and then I wanted to help others to learn from it. And then when my abilities opened up, I was able to see the connections. That's one of the things I specialize in. I can see what kind of connection two people have, what kind of sometimes it's from the past, like past lives, agreements, like was something what was shared before. Sometimes it's what kind of connections on different chakras I could see. So yeah, there is a lot to love, but we can again learn from it, and then we can run away. It's our choice, but it definitely shines the light on all the stuff that we're still uncomfortable with. And yeah, I think it's a very beautiful and it's a very challenging thing at the same time.
Oh, indeed. All right, great. Let's see. I'll share a little bit of some of my perspective. So I am a matchmaker and I use my intuitive eye reading to match people. I've navigated all the lessons that I teach and help people with myself. I'm still navigating many of them. I grew up with my parents and my grandma. My brother also born after me, but my grandma and my mom were working out so many difficult things with them, and I'm caught in the middle of all that, just like so many of us land in whatever generational lessons. So, oh goodness, I think that when we're kids, our job is to get love. Like we need to get enough love, enough nourishment of various kinds in order to survive. And so our brains end up mapping whatever happens as love. And then it leads to whatever confusing pathway when we go out to experience love with other people in the world, ourselves and other people. So the love that we got and didn't get as kids affects a lot of who we choose later in our lives. So a main pattern that I see people choose in a romantic relationship is that they often choose people like their parents. And I think we do this because when we go looking for love with others, we do what work to get love and attention from our family, even if it was really dysfunctional. And we often choose the same kinds of eyes, the same kinds of patterns, the same psychology, a lot of the same challenges. And we do that over and over again. We're often learning lessons about loving ourselves. I certainly had lots of lessons about loving myself. And if we don't love who we are, when we see other people's eyes that are the same as ours, we're harsh with them the same way we're harsh with ourselves inside. And so we usually don't date anyone like us. We usually avoid all those people. And so the only people that we date over and over again are usually opposites, like our family. These are the hardest people to be with from my perspective. We're certainly learning lessons about how that's hard, but oh gosh, painful. I looked at everyone I had big crushes on, to the person I married, to the people I then dated, and I switched from dating men to dating women, and still over and over, almost everyone that I chose was like my father in terms of eyes. And so my dad's different from me. So I accomplished like him and different from me at the same time. There are two other exceptions. There's like 12 people in a row that were all like my dad. The two other exceptions were other important people in my early life. One was someone that crossed my boundaries as a child, and the other someone that was like my grandma that I grew up with. Harsh things with my grandma too. I eventually came to love myself more and more. Specifically, I used relationships and used who I was attracted to help me see how much I was progressing with self-love. Not that I realized it was self-love so much at the time. I wanted to be able to see someone like me and feel attracted to someone like me and find someone like me that was attracted to me. And I finally found that after so many lessons and so many learnings. And I've been with someone like me for 7.5 years. We have a few things that are different. And being with her, I had to learn to love me to be with her. And now it's more lessons about self-love, because if I see something in her that I feel frustrated by, it's immediately like, oh yeah, I do that too. So it's an opportunity for me to soften, for me to accept me more. And then we do have some differences. And so it's an opportunity for us to be that much more accepting of the differences. Like, can I be so settled in me that I have spaciousness for however she is? I want to mention also something that I realized recently, and Susie, this kind of gets into like all kinds of past things that I think you have something to say about. My partner's cats died and we adopted some new cats. And one cat that we have, my ex, who's my friend, who's visited a number of times, she chose one for herself, although we're like, what? Take a cat? She can't take care of herself. Like, how could she take a cat? And so when all the cats were ready, she visited and brought all the cats came to our house, and we basically wouldn't let her take the cat with her, but she did take the cat with her. She drove for like 2 hours, turned around, brought the cat back. So we have that cat, and oh my gosh, it is like the same as my ex. So I'm thinking this last week, I realized I think they're twin souls, where I think twin souls are where they're very similar. They have karmic lessons. They can't be together in this life. And like it can be torturous between them. And she doesn't like hearing about how he's like her. They are so similar. And she uses well, anyway, she's basically non-binary too. It's just so appropriate. And so I realized it's for me to learn about twin souls. That's my story. So I'm learning more about this by being with them and being tortured by all the lessons of my ex. It was back like my dad all over again. It's pretty funny. So anyway, there's just so many lessons about love. And for me, love also is a way for us to learn lessons and grow, not only from the relationships that we're in, from the people that we love and think we don't love and all those things. And it's also an opportunity for us to get feedback on where we are on our journey. I love all sorts of people in life, ironically, and so appropriately. My high school quote, which I felt ashamed of for a while, but it was from Sheila E. and is love is forever. That's all our life, all your life. And I really do believe that in many ways, like that the people that I love, I so deeply love, and I love the essence of who they are. And, I love the part they played in my journey. So I think love is just so much. And I'm excited to be here talking about this. It's one of my favorite topics, part of why I do what I do. All right. And practitioners, is there anything else you want to share? I know I shared quite a bit. Is there anything else you want to share about the theme before we jump into answering questions? All right, great. Just wanted to check in. All right, well, let's see. So I can say a few things before we start on questions. So one is I invite everyone to, well, I don't like this pen. Let's get another one. Grab something to write with or draw with. Take notes, scribble, whatever shows up, because this is a great opportunity to practice seeing if your opening intuition is tapping into the same kinds of things that we are, in that you may have something come through you that is similar to the way that we answer questions. It's confirmation for you to continue to trust those parts of you and the way that you're tapping in, whatever that is. We all do it very differently. And well, many of us do it very differently. And of course, you may have something come through you that's very relevant for that person's question that we happen to not mention. So just because we don't say it doesn't mean it's not so. And it's a great opportunity for all of you to learn from all that's asked and all that's answered, whether or not you ask a question. It is super affordable to ask a question. You'll probably hear answers from all of us. I'll put the information in the chat again. We do request that you pay first. And if you're asking a question, this is a public forum. I think this is a good thing to do anytime you work with anyone, and particularly when it's public like this and recorded. When you ask a question, if we go deeper than you want us to go in this format, or we talk about topics that for us are related, but you just don't want us sharing about here, we want to honor you in our answer. So interrupt us, give us guidance, tell us to head back over what's okay with you. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here and doing this together. We can't do this without all of you. And thanks those of you that have already jumped in with asking a question. All right, Julie, I'm going to bring you up on screen and we'd love to hear about your question. And I'll put the information in the chat for everyone else again if you're interested in considering asking a question for us with us. All right, Julie.
Hi.
Hey, welcome.
So, Laureli, I didn't quite hear what you said about asking the question. Was there information that you wanted me to share?
Oh, so I want you to ask the question however you want to ask it. If you're not quite sure what it is, it's fine to, blend in a few different things in your question, like whatever it is, we will play with it. We may have some questions for you along the way of answering too.
Okay. So, quick few little things about me. I have a chronic condition that leaves me with just a little bit of energy. So I'm kind of asking for specifics so that I can kind of focus my energy on where would be best. I feel like I have a solid foundation of where I want to start and proceed with my spiritual journey. It's taken me kind of a long time to get here, but I feel like I'm really in earnest. That's my goal. And let's see, I've had several psychics since like the end of 19 tell me that I'm going to be meeting my soulmate, kind of like an in-step partner, somebody that would, go on this journey with me, grow with me spiritually. But, that was right before COVID. Haven't been as able to get to a lot of events, but I've still been trying to kind of put myself out there. But there's just so many options. I'm wondering if like this prediction of my soulmate, is this still a possibility? And if so, where should I be focusing my attention specifically to meet this person? Are there specific groups that I should be looking at? I've been trying to, go to things that I'm interested in and, spend time where I feel good. but it's not coming up. It's not happening for me. So any advice you can give me would be great.
That's great. And just where in the world are you?
Portland, Oregon.
Okay, great. All right. Well, practitioners, when you're ready, if you could raise your hand in Zoom, that would be great. I know you're ready. I know I'm totally ready if no one else is ready, but I can wait. Maybe I'll just leap in. So, are you doing any online dating or have you done? Well, yes, it's totally possible to meet the person. Very, very, very possible. Please don't give up. And I mean, I believe that for everyone, and I definitely believe that for you too, just feeling your energy and hearing you ask. Are you doing online dating or have you done online dating in the past?
I have tried, but I have not had good experiences. And I've been kind of caught in some scams too. So I'm more hesitant to do that.
Yeah, so I do generally recommend online dating. It's a great way to find lots of people that are single, that are like us, where I can see lots of eyes to help people find partners. And I have a drop-in dating coaching and matchmaking group. The first one's by donation. I'll put information in the chat for everybody. I should just have it in my write-up. So, important thing to look at is how are you describing you? Most of us get caught up in these lessons that I was describing where we get nervous and scared. And so we, in public, act like, and on our online dating profile, write about ourselves and choose photos about ourselves like what worked to get love and attention from our family. So we end up attracting the wrong people that are not very conscious, et cetera, that don't see us and get us because we're not even showing who we are. Portland is filled with a number of people that are like you in the ways that you are creative. My sense is that you have lots of different ideas, love to explore all kinds of different things. Sensual pleasure matters to you. You're sensitive to energy. I think you also feel emotions deeply, big waves of emotions. That's not like Portland so much. It's partially like Portland, but not totally like Portland. The creativity is like Portland. And you also love to learn. So when you're interested in something, you love learning about it. Those two things are like Portland. So there are lots of people around you that are like you, that are conscious. Portland is generally a good conscious city. That's part of why I was asking where you are. So, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's important that you describe that you're on a mission and your spiritual journey matters so much, and that you're creative and you know lots of different interests, and that you love learning. Like those are the kinds of things that people need to know about you from the beginning. And so often you might not say those things. And if you do online dating again, describing more things about your spiritual journey and how you practice, and then also sites like even just general sites like Match. You can search for people that are spiritual, not religious, and so that's a way of like cleaning through some of the crap and finding people that are more likely to be conscious. They still might not be, but more likely. And then Bumble is great to avoid more scammers because you generally write first. I don't know what genders you date, but in general, right, women write first on that one. So, and there are other sites that work for it works for women finding women too. And what else was I going to say? I think it's important to talk about the important things from the beginning. Wherever you meet someone at a library, you meet someone at a party, talk about spirituality. Have that be the first thing that you do with people. I have a way I recommend writing with online dating, and if they don't talk about spirituality enough in their profile, that is the very first thing that I ask, and I have people share about themselves too. So you can look at how, and I also say if you've been attracted to the wrong people, then whenever you go out in public, start looking at the people you're not paying attention to. Just make it an exercise. Here's who you're first attracted to, and now who else is there? And it could take a lot of attention to find the other people because sometimes we're so rejecting them that we just never see them. So that's a bit of what I would suggest. And I just had a metaphysics and wellness fair in Portland for 3 days. We had 2 speed dating events. So going to events like that, which it sounds like you're doing, but going to events like that where there are more conscious people, we have everybody wear hearts that wants to, that's open to dating, so that they can meet other people that are open to dating. So go to environments like that that's really facilitating people connecting with each other. So there's a bit for me, and I'll put more information in the chat about my drop-in groups. All right, Masha.
Thank you.
What I'm getting is that it's important for you to cultivate energy of feeling an energy like you really enjoy and you love your body, and the energy of like sexual energy. I'm feeling into the second sacral chakra, and I feel like it wants more attention. Like
Okay.
if you can focus on more self-pleasure, maybe, I don't know if you like to dress up, maybe dressing up sometimes and really cultivating and bringing up that energy of like fun, play, pleasure will really help with what Lorelai just shared. That's one thing. And also, I'm curious if there is any fear around intimacy, because I pulled some cards and there was like a woman looking at candles, looking at fire and feeling frightened. So I would journal about what is your relationship with your sexual energy, with your sexuality. There might be some blocks that you want to look at, but discover them first, what they are. Just really journal about it first.
Yeah, I've been single for a very long time. I've had 2 divorces. The first marriage was the love of my life, and I went into a deep depression after that and kind of hooked up with who was my next husband, and that was just a really bad relationship. And I had a child, and so then I just focused on raising her. So I've been single since. So yeah, there's, fear about getting into the dating scene and all that, so.
But you got this.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. Just as we're passing it on, I'll say too that I can look at photos of exes and then look at photos of a current interest and help you avoid people that are similar to the past.
Okay.
So on online dating, I screen to find eyes and avoid the ones that are right like the past. So
Okay.
help. You got help. Okay, let's see. We've got Dr. Boston, Susie, and Crystal all in line. So Dr. Boston's next.
Okay. Hi, Julie. It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi.
You too.
Thanks. When I look at you, I feel a heavy depression and sadness. And that is in itself incredibly draining. So the low energy is the sadness. And I'd like to ask, do you think that you have felt rejected a lot in your life?
Yes, and I do have depression, and I'm being treated for that. I have felt a lot of rejection from my family, and I'm now starting to like really look at the childhood traumas and kind of start setting boundaries. I really haven't been good with boundaries until just recently. So I'm starting to do that. So there's probably a lot that I'm still, going through healing, but I'm, kind of at the beginning of that.
So what I want to say to you about that is this. That experience of rejection that has followed you and plagued you forever is something that is a imprinted pattern. When you were born, that's the one you were born with. And in my model, I refer to it as the water pattern. So what it means for you is that your instinct is to feel unworthy. And you were born with that. It wasn't created by your family. And there's a way around it. The result of it is to experience a lot of rejection. And the reason is because of you're feeling so unworthy that you reject yourself. And what you are unconscious of is the behaviors that you perpetuate. I don't know how to say this without being very factual and direct about it. So I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm trying to give you.
Go ahead and be direct. I'm good with that. So.
Okay, good. So the behavior that results from the fear of rejection actually causes the rejection. So there's a thing you have to do to make that stop. Because one of the shadows of this is neediness and withdrawal. The person who is at a big party and they're standing up against the wall, looking around the room, trying to see who is safe to go talk to or who might come and talk to you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's you protecting yourself from that rejection. But the act of standing there against the wall shows that you're rejecting yourself, and other people are going to look at you like, not confident, needy, not what I need, right? So you're setting yourself up for it like that, and in many other ways, but that's just one example. So the work here for you is to do a couple of things. One is to be less emotionally intense, because water types love intense emotional connection. And the loneliness that you feel is because you don't have that in a partnership, right? That's the depression, is not getting that need met. And it is a need, but there's a way to get that need met that will not perpetuate the rejection. And that way is the second thing that you need to do, which is develop better boundaries. Because what you always ask yourself is, what do I have to do to make them love me? And the question you need to ask is, what do they have to offer me? That moves you across the axis of self over to the fire element, which is really good at doing that. So the idea of these patterns is to work your way toward the middle of all four. And in this case, it's about building your own bucket. So think of water as an element for a minute. It has no shape of its own, right? It kind of flat, right? So it looks for another person to give it shape, and you try to shape yourself around it. That other person becomes your container. And what you need to do is build your own container, your own bucket. And you do that by having boundaries that value yourself. And by having those boundaries and building your bucket, the unworthiness goes away. Is that making sense to you?
Yes, yes. And I feel like I have come to kind of those conclusions, but really haven't embodied them yet. So what you're saying makes a lot of sense, you know. And for me, being alone is not loneliness. You know, I'm highly sensitive, so I like to hermit away. It feels good, but I know that I need to step out of that and, you know, work on being more confident, appearing more confident, because, you know, I really do like myself and I've worked on myself a lot, but there's obviously still a lot more I need to do. So I appreciate you being direct about those and what I need to look at to change. So, yes, those make perfect sense.
It's really all about boundaries. That's all you have to
Okay.
focus on is boundaries. And if you
Okay.
spend 5 minutes a day looking at the boundaries you've had for the day and
Mhm.
list 5 things that you've done well during the day that you like, and you're good to go.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Great. Thanks so much, Dr. Boston. I put Dr. Boston's info in the chat too. All right, Susie's next and then Crystal.
Hey, Julie, I appreciate you
Hi.
giving us additional information too, because as soon as you said you had an ex, I was pulling cards over here and I've got angel healing cards. What are they called? Angel cards. And I pulled healing. I feel like you are still in that process of healing. And then you said, yeah, I'm beginning to do that. And I went, okay, there's number one. And then the next card I pulled was from my friend Henry India Holden's deck, and it was play. And then the more you talked, the more I realized that with your first ex, there was a past life contract that needs breaking. And, you know, you can just imagine that and watch it just into air, because you've rewritten that contract already by doing your healing on depression, taking care of yourself. Now, with boundaries, I think that is very important to do that. And for me, one of the first steps I take in reclaiming my boundaries is to, in fact, regain my power. Some people call it forgiveness, but for me, forgiveness is not, oh, that's all right, honey, I'll just buy a new car. You just go and drive stupid all you want. It's not that. It is putting myself in a place of power higher up if I in my visualization, and looking at this person and saying, you took some of my power and I want it back. Use whatever language, however much force you want behind it, but you say, you've got my power, I'm taking it back. And that energy, that power comes back to you. It goes through a lovely filter of divine so that it comes back to you clean and clear and goes back to where it belongs. And then on the other side of it, you say, oh, yeah, this is the energy you tried to embed in me frequently. I keep pointing to my kidneys when I tell this story, but you take their energy out because kidneys are about fear. And so they're trying to
Okay.
instill fear in you. It just, thank you very much, guides, for giving me that. But, you're taking that power that this other person has tried to instill in you and you send it back to them so that you are more sovereign unto yourself. That's an excellent boundary to have, is to have
Okay.
your own power with you and send theirs back to them. And then, no, that's what I got. I'm good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you. That was
Susie.
very helpful.
Great.
Excellent.
Next we've got Crystal and then Galactic Ashley.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
You probably, as we go through this evening, a lot of times we will build on what each one of us has said because there'll be similar stuff that's coming through. One of the first things that came up as you were speaking for me was feeling like you're not 100% in your body. It's almost like you're like from like your waist up, you're like leaning out of your body like a figurehead on a boat, how it leads out from the boat.
Mhm.
And so you need to like pull yourself back in to be totally in your body. And part of the reason
Okay.
I get it's like you've got some stuff stuck, as Masha was saying, in your second chakra and also in your first chakra.
Okay.
That makes it uncomfortable for the rest of you to be in the body.
Right.
Right? It's almost like having a label in the back of your shirt. It bugs you and it bugs you.
Mm-hmm.
So doing some breath work with the chakras, and
Okay.
especially to echo what Susie was just saying about making sure you've released past relationships and also brought your
Okay.
energy back to you. You indicated that you're starting to look at some trauma work and doing some stuff, and I think that's
Mhm.
going to really support what I've just shared with you by doing that level of work. Um,
Okay.
your little kid in there, your inner child, there's quite a disconnect in a way where I see her in some instances almost like sitting out on the street at night under a street light and there's nothing else around her. She just feels like her family kind of abandoned her and she doesn't have any resources, but she's sitting under that light and hoping that she'll be seen. And that's part of our work, everybody, not just, as we start on our path and stuff, is to go in and do that healing work with ourselves. And from what you shared, I believe you're on your way. So this is probably just going to validate what you are uncovering for yourself.
Yeah, this is helpful for what I need to
Yeah.
focus on. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think if you are doing this level of work and you want to do that, and I'm hoping that you'll continue to do that, you're going to get in touch with some anger as well. It feels to me like you don't let yourself have your anger very often. Like it's like you're more mental in a way.
I'm just starting to do that.
So you're going to have to
Mhm.
get out of your head and
Yep.
get down into your body because unfortunately we can't think our feelings. So yeah, you do some anger work around that as well. That's going to be helpful.
Okay.
Because by doing this, you're going to create a different relationship to come forward.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because what Boston
Yes.
shared about
That's great.
setting these boundaries, loving yourself, putting yourself
Mhm.
first, you're the priority, turning that attention back to yourself and loving yourself. Will echo also what Susie said about, hey, you know, I'm taking my energy back. I'm putting it back into me. I'm investing in myself, filling
Mhm.
that cup first for ourselves. And on a mental platform, you do that, but on the emotional, physical, you're catching up to that. That's going to be kind of new for you. It's like the cup is a concept and you look at, oh, this is a cup. This is my cup. Oh, how interesting. Interesting. And it's like, well, what's in it? You got to fill the cup. Got to fill your cup. So the whole
Yes,
point,
I definitely feel that,
yeah. So we fill our cup so we can drink
yeah,
out of
it's
it.
been conceptual and it's just starting to feel.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. So you're definitely on your way. You're asking all the right
Okay.
questions. Everything we're sharing with you is like pinging really good because you're like, yes, 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 yes. These are all, so that's your affirmation and the signs that you are on your right path and doing what you're supposed to be doing. The relationship out there will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Once you fix, do the work in here, then you'll get the relationship out there. And I gotta quit. So thank you.
Okay. Yeah, kind of felt like maybe there's something else I need to be doing with me before that relationship comes. So,
Absolutely.
yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Great. Thanks so much, Crystal. Galactic Ashley's next.
Hi.
Hello.
So I think it's a good reminder that it's not always our fault if we don't meet this person that somebody told us we were going to meet or that we actually feel. And sometimes they are actually going through something similar that you are going through. Sometimes they actually need to get prepared. Um, oh, I see. Sorry. God, Zoom is adding things. Sorry, I saw a warning. It's going to lower my hand for me. All right. So sometimes they're actually doing the work. So, like, if we can remove fault or blame from ourselves, is that we're not healing enough, that we're not fixing ourselves fast enough. So, for all you know, this other soul could really be way behind and they're trying to catch up with you. But that doesn't mean you slow down or that you not do anything. So, sometimes it looks like this could be happening, and then they're like, oh, bloop, 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 and then you're like doing something, and then eventually, like, things kind of align because it's pretty miraculous. When we find ourselves meeting people in general, whether they're friends or we're crossing with soul family, it just happens. Oh, squirrel. Oh, there's a sign. Oh, I should go in there. Oh, it starts in 5 minutes. Oh, how random, right? Like these are the things that kind of happen, and it feels like, I mean, you said a few things that you're doing. It's great. Like if you don't want to meet somebody at a bar, don't go to a bar to meet somebody unless you're super interested in like making beer or whatever, right? Like you go to the places where you have passion so that ideally you're drawing in somebody that might have similar interests in you, in you and like as you. One of the things that came up pretty intensely, as a couple of other people said, is that I did see like a severe, like deep sadness that is in there. And I didn't get a lot of information about it because it feels like an inner child. It does feel like a trauma wound, and this does not feel like the place to unpack it. So I'm just going to hand that. There also feels to be like a more of a sort of a greater disconnection, like a multidimensional disconnection, which is not helping support this. I'll just call it a trauma pattern. So there's like a trauma pattern that has been ignored, that needs some attention, that has to do with the inner child. And this trauma pattern is also created like this massive rupture and disconnection with the earth. And there's actually a grief and a sadness inside of you that once you start poking around in there, that grief will come up. And once you start sort of connecting with that, you can sort of engage with Gaia, with the earth, with the planet. And then you can be in organic alignment, both with yourself and with your brain. So there feels to be a direct connection between maybe the depression that's being experienced like in the brain and being able to connect to the earth. Also, the frequency of rose came in. So working with that plant, like getting it in like a tea form and sort of consciously connecting with it or doing some sort of plant devotional can be really beneficial, both in its frequency and the vibration of rose, and also because it is connected to the earth and self-love, and also just what is love and the areas that you can love yourself and also open to another. And the other thing that might be helpful is to practice discomfort. And so what that might look like for you, and this is an experience that I actually had. I didn't like being touched. So for me, I practiced going to get a massage from a very safe person that I knew so that I could have somebody else like touch me. So something that might equal discomfort in a place that you feel safe in trying to experience that discomfort, to reconnect with your body in that way, while also kind of working as a means to work with that trauma pattern a little bit and to sort of set the intention, not too much too fast, but sort of like in an appropriate way. So it doesn't have to be massage. That's just something that I did, and that was almost a little too much, but I was fine. So something like that. Another thing that came up is body movement and getting a drum. There's, I think, Gaia's drums, I think that's what it's called. They're in Portland. You can go there and talk to someone and find the right drum for yourself, and to be able to just play with that energy and play with that sort of physicality of moving around and playing with the drum can also be really beneficial. You can tell them I sent you. No, I don't get anything out of it, but it's like my way to just tell them hi. I like saying hi to other people that go there.
Sure.
Yeah, and they're really good
Sure.
at matching
Awesome.
people with the right drum too. So it's fun. It should be just a fun experience, or at least go there and play with them. You don't need to get one, but it's just a whole fun. It's a fun experience. Like, right, you're getting a relationship with the drum that might like call in a relationship with your body and maybe somebody else. And the other last thing is to release the pressure of meeting this person, because you might meet like one or two people before then, and as like practice people before you meet this person. And I think a lot of times we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to meet this person, and then what are we going to do together, and then what's my purpose and my mission, and how does it change? And so it just becomes a lot sometimes, rather than just sort of let it organically happen and trust the process.
Okay. Yeah, I think that kind of ties in with the discomfort too. I think a lot of my discomfort is around dating. So meeting a few people and practice dating beforehand, that kind of makes sense to me. So, and you brought up some things that I can conceptualize, but haven't really, they aren't really in focus for me, like the drama and the disconnect. So, I'm aware of that kind of stuff, but I haven't really focused in on that on me. So I appreciate that. That's giving me some good information of a new way to, a new thread to follow.
And doing any of the things that Lorelei does, all the dating things, even the online stuff and the intentional relating, can all be really good ways of practicing discomfort in a safe space. So
yes, thank you. Yes.
Yeah, speed dating online too. I'm going to say in general, for you and for everyone too, it's helpful to notice, are we looking for people that are similar to us, that like spiritually, and how much they've grown? Are we looking for people that are more conscious? Are we only noticing people that are less conscious? What are we seeing? Who are we looking for? And it gives us information. I think that looking less conscious and more conscious is a challenge. And it tells us something about some lessons inside of us. Looking for someone that's generally in the range, and ideally someone that's growing at the same rate as us, is the best thing. No, not so much faster, not so much slower. Ideally around the same. Well, thank you so much, Julie, for your question. Great to jump in and get us started.
Thank you all for your help. I really appreciate all of your input.
You are so welcome. All right, let's see. So next we've got Mary. Mary, do you want to come up on? Okay, great.
Hi.
Hello, great to see you again.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to be seen. I don't really know what my question is, to be honest with you. Kind of like, so I know I'm not really looking for love. I loved everything that you ladies had to say to Julie. I'm sitting here writing everything down for myself as well, because I can relate so much. right now I can't, I'm in a position where I can't really date anyway, which is fine. I don't need to. I'm happy being by myself. I don't mind that whatsoever. Um, Someone on one of these panels had told me that and when I actually after I retire and in a couple of years I'll end up meeting somebody, not necessarily a soulmate. I don't think I know I've never really had a soulmate, and that's fine too. Um, but I'm just I guess what my real question is, what are you folks seeing or feeling from me that could be blocking me? Because just like Julie, I've had a lot of disappointments, a lot of this is life, and I just want to clear everything so that when that person does come along, I can be like, oh, okay, that's that person. You understand what I mean? I think that's my question.
Okay, great. Yeah. So what's blocking you, and how can you be set up to see this person when this person's here?
Right.
Yeah, and I guess so. I say this as a lesson. Sometimes it so like my partner is a lot like me. She's not exactly the same as me. She's a lot like me. But so a way to look at what could be in the way is if you imagined whatever gender you want to date, imagine someone that's just so like you. Physically, they might be like you. Personality characteristics, they're like you. What are the harsh judgments you have of them? Like, why would you not want to be with them?
Hmm.
And this will let you know inside why you think someone doesn't want to be with you. So these are all the ways that you would take you out of dating someone.
Okay. Okay.
I happen to think a soulmate is a lot like us, but in general, it will tell you about why you think you're undateable.
Okay.
And the other thing, a reason why we often don't look for people like us, because we imagine the other person wants to be with us because we provide something, we contribute something that they don't have. And that sets us up to be with opposites that don't get us and don't appreciate us.
Okay. That makes sense.
So just looking at whatever those self-judgments are.
Hmm.
Yeah. We usually have a lot of them. We keep them kind of in, deep down inside in some ways. We only share them with ourselves in private, or we don't even know what they are because they're so deep. So really looking for those things, like imagining who the person is you would love to date and seeing how they're different than you. That'll help you see why the ways that you're not wanting to be with someone that's the same. Yeah. And someone just asked a question, what about compliments? I think compliments opposites, like I think compliments are opposites. So they're different. Compliments are different. I think compliments are great in business when you're working on doing different things. And if you want to set up a relationship life where one person does these things and the other person does these things and you don't really meet, I think like having a bunch of differences is okay. But if you really want to meet, I think having enough similarities is really important. Yeah, so Mary, those are the ways I'd go look to see what might be there for you. Yeah,
Okay.
like I can imagine. Yeah. All right, great. And we've got Crystal, Dr. Boston, and Galactic Ashley online. So go ahead, Crystal.
Hey, Mary.
Hi, Crystal.
So I'm going to build on what Laureli said. If you opt to do what she said, which is to go inside and like, essentially you're going to identify the blocks by like, why wouldn't somebody want to date me because blah, blah, blah. So I would encourage you to write those things out. No one's going to want to date me because X, or, you can start, you'll have a potential list. So those are beliefs that you're holding that then you're using as filters when you go to manifest a partnership, right?
Right.
So that's gonna torque or twist what you're trying to manifest because you're going through those filters. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So in addition to when you write them down, then I also would encourage you to see what emotions and feelings you have attached to that. Do you find like there's some shame? Is there anger? Is there fear? Is there grief and loss and sadness? And that's going to show areas where potentially you've got these little trauma points that are kind of stuck in your energy system, in your consciousness. And then if you wanted to go one step further, then you could also say, where do I feel that in my body? Do I feel it someplace? Do I feel it like in a chakra? Do I feel it in my arm? Do I feel it in my stomach? Do I feel it in a kidney? Is there a spot where you've hurt yourself more than once? And so it's a reoccurring spot where trauma might be stored, and you might find some of that energy there as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're essentially, these are areas where you are holding judgments against yourself. And so that will stop you from being able to feel good about who you are. If we don't feel good about who we are, then it's hard to manifest a partner that's going to be a good relationship to us, because we're going to want to hide those parts of ourselves. And so it's going to make for an uneven relationship, because those are going to be our wounded spots. And we don't necessarily want to expose that to another person, because then we're afraid we'll drive them off if they see those parts of us. When we make peace with those places within ourselves, and we heal that, and we send love to ourselves and forgive ourselves and give ourselves some grace, because man, we survived a lot of stuff to be here now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do that work, that shadow work. And that's going to change the blueprint of relationship for you about then what you will manifest as partner.
Okay. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Thank
like
you.
that. Thank
Okay.
you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Crystal. And next is Dr. Boston.
Hi, Mary. It's really
Hi.
nice to meet you, love.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So my recommendation for you is kind of along the same lines, but a little bit different approach. I recommend that you make a list of 20 things that you have to offer a relationship. What do you want to give to a partner? And then I recommend that you create an archetype, someone that you admire, or someone completely made up, maybe She-Ra or Aphrodite, whoever it might be, who embodies those things that you have to offer. And you can stand up and walk around the room and wear that archetype, embody it, and live it, so that that energy of what you want to offer is with you. And you'll be a magnet for whoever needs to come to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dr. Boston. Galactic Ashley's next, and then Masha, and then Susie.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
How are
Good. So one of the things that like first totally just you, and so this is a gift, right? But it's not really operating as a gift right now. Or in this particular instance, is you are really, really good at being invisible. And so this is really a practice of being seen, because when I looked at your energy, it was just like, and I was like, oh, wow. So how can you be seen, and where can you be seen? And I really feel that a lot of us have this, maybe everybody on this panel. I certainly have this. I had a full-on throwdown with the dragons when they wanted me to put my face on my own banner and call my business Galactic Ashley. I like cried and I was so upset, and I was like, no. And I was like, fine, I'll put my face at the bottom of the banner. And they were like, no. So we have this all in a lot of different areas of our life, and it's a really good practice. Like, if I don't know that much about astrology, but it feels like the crisis of Leo, Like Leo would be having a definite crisis right now because Leo has to be seen so much. But in order for you to find someone, this isn't about, because it feels like what you want is you want to do the seeing and to see the person and then sort of approach like kind of there's a lot of lion energy. A lion like jumps out of the bush and is like, that's the one. I've been watching you for like months and tracking you, and now it feels safe. It feels that you are being asked to allow yourself to be seen, and you won't actually know that it's the person, whatever, like the person, not the one, but a person for you, until they actually approach you and say hello, and then you'll go, oh. And so where in your life can you practice being seen? Like maybe when you go get a coffee or something like that. Like how can you be noticed for like who you are? This isn't about like creating some crazy mask and then being like over the top, because that's also a form of hiding. But just allowing, to the best of your ability, yourself to sort of be present and to be visible and kind of seen. And that feels like the block is that you don't want to be seen and you need to be seen in order for this person to see you. And so yeah, it's pretty interesting. And also it's not as easy maybe as it sounds. And so because there's a lot of stuff, and shame comes up, because shame is a very tricky energy, because it is nearly invisible. When I look in people's energy fields, it's a hider. So it's an opportunity for you to sort of like see where the shame is that is actually preventing you, these patterns that are preventing you from allowing yourself to be seen for the beautiful being that you are.
Awesome. Thank you. And you say you spoke Leo like I'm a Leo. So
Well, then there we go. Your Leo is in crisis, because Leo is like, oh, like wants to be on the stage and like, everybody look at me. I am so incredible. And that's like a natural, the spotlight is a really natural place.
thank you so much.
Thanks, Galactic Ashley. Masha's next, unless did someone just put their hand down? No, okay.
Hello, Mary.
Hi, Masha.
The moment I saw you, I felt your connection with the fairies. I don't know if you practice this path, if you are, if you consciously connected with them, but they are around you. I'm like, whoa.
That's
So what I saw, what I felt and saw, that you have a gift for storytelling. Yeah. So, and you have more gifts. Like the moment you popped up, I felt this like goosebumps, like that you're a very powerful person. You're a very powerful woman, and you have the ability to create new reality. And you can create this reality where you meet this person.
okay.
And you have you have spiritual support that I feel like is coming in your lineage. And I don't know if you know that. Again, it's not the question, the question is about love, but I feel like this is
that's fine. You're I'm agreeing with you. Yes, yeah.
So also Dr. Boston, she said about, Aphrodite and the goddesses of love. And I also felt like, boom, your magical powers, using them, connecting with the goddess of love, connecting with the archetype, and using that to create your own reality. Like
Okay.
you're a powerful, powerful being. And I'm like I'm like shaking inside. It's so interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and everything that was said was beautiful. I just want to, add that little twist that you have the power to create what you want and reprogram those beliefs and those negative, and influence the positive in the way where you create that reality. I also, there are a couple theories. Some people believe in parallel realities. Some people believe that we create a new reality. Some people believe that we improve this reality. So building on your belief system, think about what are some, how can you remind yourself every day that you are capable and powerful? And maybe there has been things in your life what you have accomplished and transformed and shifted and changed that you can remind yourself of. And also what's coming, one more thing, because of your gift of storytelling, you're capable of telling yourself telling yourself new stories. It's like create this new reality with this gift of storytelling, and you're going to see it manifested in your life.
Awesome. I can appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Masha. Susie's next.
Hey, Mary. First off, your folks are behind you and they are just so happy you're ready to move forward on this. I don't know. I know on Lunar New Year, they were like pounding the pots to get all of this bad stuff away from you. It cracks me up because they've got the pots with you and they're just pounding on them. So it's so good to see that they're still around and they are so full of joy and they want all the best for you. So when Dr. Boston started talking about making a list of the blockages, and then I apologize for not remembering who said make a list of the gifts. My request to you is that you make a list of the things you love about yourself. It's a story I've told before, is that it's a story I've told before that when I'm working on my self-body love, loving who I am, I started out with my right ankle. I thought I have a great right ankle bone. That's great. And so I can move my way up the body and say, oh, I like this part of me. And, and now I have expanded it to say, I love how I am able to be on these panels. I love the people I have drawn to me to be a part of this. Find those things about you that you love about you. And then that becomes that magnet. I love the idea Masha had. What Masha said is telling that story about yourself. This is you as the heroine in your story. You are the amazing person that somebody is drawn to. Okay, so keep telling that story because Masha's right. You're creating that reality. And because it's your story, you can go wherever you want with it.
Right.
You ought to hear me when I'm telling stories about myself in the car. So expand to the possibility. Say yes. That's an old improv trick. When you're learning improv, you say yes and. So start saying yes and to yourself.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, that's good. That's what I got. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Right, great. Does anyone have any other tidbits for Mary? Great. Maybe I'll say one thing too, Mary. You and I have a bunch of similarities, and we have a lot of energy that is typically considered masculine in our culture. And so if you're interested in dating men and that you have a lot of masculinity yourself, like you're different than the stereotype of women in our culture, like it just brings up all kinds of things around that too. So finding your way out of the models of what our culture teaches us is really important, right? You got to find what's good for you.
That makes sense too.
Great. All right.
Thank you all
so
so much. Appreciate you.
Very welcome, Mary. All right, next up we have T Seeker. Are you ready to come up on screen?
Hello, folks. How is everyone?
Hey.
Well, let's see. So I'm listening. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, just which name do you want us to use for you tonight?
Oh, T is good. T is
Great.
good.
Okay, T, you got it.
T tonight. Yeah. I don't know. I change it a little bit, here and there. So I was listening and kind of absorbing a lot of the information and kind of like writing a little brain map of what I want to say and what I want to ask. So I'll start with a dream I had in 2003. and much different than my life at the time. It was 3 to 4 people in the dream, plus one person that seemed to be like a partner. And it was very sweet, warm, connected, and I felt held in the dream, kind of like the community aspect of the 3 people, and also the partner. It was like the whole present moment was holding me. I don't know how to explain it any other way. And then so I guess I've been chasing for a similar feeling that I had in a dream, I think in my life. And there's not a lot of communities out there that have this feeling, or people, or families, or anything. It's a lot of disparate people, unconnected, disparate people. I find it in off games. I find it in this stuff right here. I find it in a few other groups. But even then, it's not the same thing. And so moving on from that, online dating feels really not cheap, but waste of time. And I'm going to a spiritual retreat at the end of April in Delphi University, which might be interesting. I don't know, but that might be for community too. So who knows? I'm with my twin flame, I believe now. I believe she's my twin flame. I don't know. But in this relationship, I've learned to give space for people with anxiety, that I'm not the reason for the anxiety. Erratic emotions are just a part of a person's experience, and I'm not the person causing that experience. And learning about rejection and stuff like that, which I think from a twin flame, I guess you can expect. And I definitely understand going above your pay grade is kind of like chasing acceptance, and going below your pay grade is kind of like a savior complex kind of thing, kind of like you're trying to be a savior kind of thing. And so I understand that, but there's so few choices out there, and I feel my cup is overflowed. Someone mentioned the cup. I feel it's overflowed with all kinds of great things. There's partnering there, which even though she's a twin flame, is she's awesome, and I'm learning a lot. Community is in there now. My family is outside of that cup, but it's still overflowing, and I'd like to pull people in the cup. And even though finances and current love situation is not ideal, it's like I see it all moving into place, but it's not moving into place at the same time. It's kind of like this mixture. So, and I'm leaning into all my discomforts. When you're afraid of a bug, get a bug, right? So whether that be social anxiety or being interacting on dating situations and stuff. So I guess in the end, I'm just wondering, with all this said, where is the best avenue of venture? I think it's through community, but I'm not sure, to start moving into connection with a partner, and maybe I should do more spiritual things in physical space. I don't know, but anyway, that's my question: is knowing all of that, where do I go from there? So.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I'm typing up a few more notes on what you said. Okay, great. And I'm ready fast, so I'll just jump in again. So what if the dream that you had, like, that was spirit, that was God energy holding you? It wasn't a person. And of course it was so wonderful because it was source that was holding you, and you felt the complete acceptance and love that is. And our journey here is to open and to accept and love ourselves in that same way. So you got a feeling experience of that. And really, you're the person that can put you back in that place, not a date. So that's, to me, what the way I interpret that. Yeah. And then you and I have done a little bit of online dating together. So one thing I've noticed is that where you live, oh my gosh, online dating is not easy.
Competition, right?
It is crazy. So you live in a place where there's a lot of success, unconscious culture, and wow, so while we had you on an online dating site that generally is useful in your place, I think it would be better to be on some sort of site like Match, where I can see like a whole bunch of people at once, and we can skip through all the people that are no good, because it is just crazy. And then you've had a tendency to be
I was
attracted.
considering Sedona, putting myself in Sedona on these apps or something.
Well, yeah, some other place where people, and this is where, like, looking at who you are. So how you are, who you are, you've had a tendency to be attracted to people that are relatively different from you. I know that you're experimenting with people that are more similar. So yeah, we want to find communities of people in person for you, and around the US that are more similar to you. And so one of the words I would use to describe you, that I use to describe me too, is quirky. So you're sort of quirky and unusual, right? And techie and all those kinds of things. So I want you to find people that are more like that. Yeah, so being in communities more where that's true. And we're out there. They're going to be out there by you too. So looking at tech hubs would be really good. So Sedona might not be the best place. You can find conscious people, but again, it's going to be a little bit of you're in Florida, and it's going to be a little bit of the Florida energy, because like Sedona is like, people idolize it. And so some people there idolize themselves too. So I would go for a quirky, techie, not so, conscious place, but that's not so. And so California,
Seattle pops up.
Seattle, and yeah, so Boulder's going to have a little of the idolization and the beautiful people thing, but less of it than where you are. So I would look for places like that. And yeah, and then there got to be quirky techie people there too. So what are the quirky techie clubs that are out there where you are? So that's what I would do. Yeah, and be thrilled that you got this connection to source, and there may be a grieving that you spent all these years looking for it in someone else, and the celebration that you have this like tangible feeling experience of that love that's right here that we're all aiming
In
for.
community, though, there is a little bit of it. I haven't found it in an individual, but in community, I have found a little bit of that feeling. So, but yeah, one day a community could mess you, could disappoint you, and then that's where the feeling goes away, and you realize it wasn't really real. Or it wasn't not real. It was just like it's fiddle, yeah.
It's transient, kind of. It's
transient. Yes, transient.
Yeah. So
that's the word. Yeah.
You've grown and gotten more conscious, and the more you put yourself around people that are more conscious, you get some of that feeling from them, because they hold more of that space than you're currently holding for yourself. So yeah. Great, and learning to hold more of it for yourself. All right, great. We've got Galactic Ashley ready.
Hi. Where do you live? I missed that.
Florida.
Okay.
Florida.
All right, I got it. Now I understand the conversation. Also, Laureli, you are hilarious about the Sedona comment about how people love they love Sedona and they love themselves, so they idolize themselves. So really
spiritual bypassing.
Yeah. So my other question is, do you identify as male before I start?
Yes, he, him. Yep. He, him. Yes.
Right. Okay.
And also the other word that I can't think of.
Okay. So just before I launch off into this thing that I'm being taken, my other question is, did you say the word star a bunch of times, or were you saying something else?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't recall.
Maybe you're just saying start, or I don't know, but I just kept on hearing star. So I'm just gonna.
As in starseed?
There was stars in the dream.
Okay.
There was stars in the dream, and I think there was an indication that I should leave or something and stuff.
Okay. All right. So what?
Not leave them, but leave with them. Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as you're not exiting this physical matrix, go ahead and leave with them. I think it's totally fine. Okay, so what it feels like to me is that you're having a lot of contact experiences. And what happens is we can tend to project these contact experiences onto humans. And it's a lot to ask another human being to be the divine emanation of love. However, we can ask them to mirror everything to us, and if we have a hard time loving ourselves, we can consciously say, I am in love with this person, I love this person so much, but by loving them, what's happening is you're looping back and actually loving yourself. So that there is something, but I'm very clearly getting that there's a lot of communication that is coming into you, but it's not to take you away, but it's actually to allow these contact experiences to come to you, to enjoy them. And I think Laureli said something about grief, but there is a lot when we have these experiences with the divine. And I really, really understand this. And so I'm not joking about it. Like, there are massive, at least for me, layers of grief that come. And so sometimes when we have these experiences, we start to miss home. We start to home, this idea of what we think home is. I experienced first source, what I call first source separation over and over and over again. And that's okay, because I'm here to like hold that frequency. But there's a lot of like highly active energies that are coming into your system, and that's okay. But we don't want to project them onto other human beings. The other thing that came through very, very clearly is that let's pretend that like the curriculum for you, what it feels like, if this resonates, is actually to learn about what it means to be a man, not what we've been told what it means to be a man. And let's assume that we don't know what it means to be a man, because each of us is here to hold a divine feminine and masculine expression. And so for those of us that are embodied as like a woman or a man, and we identify as that, then we are here to actually embody masculinity. So what does that mean for you? And working and finding men's groups, maybe online or in person, where you can sort of engage with that energy to understand like what it means for a man to hold space, so that you can either repair or work with your twin flame person, or attract another person that to come into your energy field. But like, assume that you don't know what it means to be a man, because there are so many distortions of the field, in the field of both masculine and feminine energy. We have a lot of patterns that just simply aren't true. And one of them with the male body is that they've been very divorced from the emotional body. So a lot of the work comes like through expressing emotion through the physical structure and what that means. But this feels like an opportunity for you to explore what it means to be a man in today's society, and somebody that's also bridging the gap between spirituality and humanity, and bringing that into the body and letting that be an expression, and to be a male that is a safe male, and to hold space for that. And finding actually a male community. So while you're asking about relationship, it really feels to find a relationship with men, and to work on building that. And then by doing that, then you become, then like everything starts to open. And then there will be women, if you date women, that like start to come in, and they find this sort of sense of, not that men have to be a sense of safety and security, but at a divine level, the divine feminine is here to love every living thing, and the divine masculine is here to protect every living thing. And so merging both of those in ourselves as individuals, and then in partnership, is a really powerful expression. So that's mostly what I'm getting for you. And yes, lots of contact, and allow it, and like bring it in. It's exciting times.
Thank you. What do you mean by project onto humans, like in particular terms that I can understand?
So let's say I have a best friend, and I love him like so much. And I remember all these lifetimes that we have together. I also know what it's like to like have this really intimate relationship with God. I cannot project upon him that he must be all of these ways of how I know him to be, like in this big divine way. I have to see him how he is in this very moment, which has stuff, which is very human. And so we don't want to put pressure on relationships for them to be this divine emanation. We can recognize the divinity, and also recognize that there is a human there, and that human has stuff. And the beauty is that we get to work through that stuff, particularly if they're conscious and you're conscious. Like, this is where relationship being a ceremony is so powerful, because two conscious people can move so many patterns through them if they stay open and remain open. And it's one of like the most healing sort of ceremonies that you can be in.
Great. Thank
you. I understand. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Galactic Ashley. We've got Crystal and then Masha.
First, I want to say that Ashley, that was a Galactic Ashley. That was amazingly, and that was beautiful. I love everything that you just said. That was fantastic. Thank you. Hey, T. I'm going to feel really inadequate following after that, but
and
the image that came up was almost like you're this tree, this beautiful, amazing tree, and I'm seeing like incandescent, almost like the one behind you on your background, right? That you are continually stepping out under the heavens and saying, hit me with a lightning bolt. It's like you are asking for that level of contact that Ashley was referring to a lot. You're able to handle that level of frequency that comes with that, which is very high, 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 high. It's almost like you're walking around like a third rail all the time. So one, that's what you do. My only caveat about that is periodically check in and make sure your nervous system is staying caught up with that, because that's a big thing to put on the physical body. You know what I mean? Is this resonating at all?
Yes, no, yeah, I'm zoning in. That's why I'm quiet. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I just want to make sure. So checking on the physical before you, because it's almost like it's a regular thing that you do. It's like, okay, hit me. And it works for you. And then you walk out into the world with this big energy, right? And not everybody can be around you and be able to they can't handle that frequency. So the fact that you're like this conduit that allows this new energy to come in, and to piggyback on what Galactic Ashley said, it's allowing you to look at the archetype of the male and in this human experience. You're allowing all this new energy to come in, and then you're trying to anchor this down into this physical reality. That's a big thing to do. So again, just make sure your body's okay, that all of you is getting the attention it needs as you follow this path, that you're staying integrated. Okay. It's like I'm getting like drink lots of water, electrolytes, all this stuff to keep yourself hydrated, because water conducts electricity. So you want to make sure that your body is running to speed with what you're doing. And that impacts the people that come around you. So the people that can stay are the people that can be your soul tribe or your kindred spirits. The people that show up and then they get agitated because that frequency they can't accommodate it, and so it lights them up and they get uncomfortable, those people will come into your space and then they'll move back off again because it's too much for them. So you've got to allow that it's like you have this lightning bolt in your back pocket, and not everybody can handle that level of intensity that you carry with you. It feels normal to you because that's who you are. So that's a screening process in a way for people that you come into a relationship with. You almost got to screen for that. Can they handle that frequency?
yeah. I am definitely a lot to handle sometimes, especially if I turn it on, but I can totally turn it off. And I used to be very quiet when I was younger. I didn't talk very much. But when I found myself, I dialed it up 200 times, and I was like, well, if it's all my world, I might as well, if I'm sharing this world and it's all mine, I might as well play around with it. So, yeah.
So,
but I relate.
Yeah. And so if you know that, then you'll know that if somebody can't be in relationship with you or stick around, it's not because you did something wrong or there's something wrong with them. It's like you're running at your speed.
It's a misalignment. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And some people aren't just going to be able to hang with that much. And that's okay. It makes it harder sometimes to find a partner.
Right.
But do you hear your guides?
Yes. I actually just, one of them is, I was told by a psychic many years ago, whispers secrets and theologies in my ear. And she is gray haired or something like that, with like tinsel or something. But according to that person, but I experience it as you're self-important, you're important, and like theologies that I could never know anything about. But I've started to push away from that energy because it gives this self-importance kind of feeling to it. It's kind of like too much your importance. It's like manic importance, you know what I mean? And it's too much. So I have to slow that. I'm starting to slow that energy down and say, I'm starting to talk to it and say, hey, you need to chill out. Because I can't be in manic states all the time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was talking about. Okay, good. I'm glad you're getting that and you're following that course for yourself, because I'm just concerned that that you might just don't overdo it. Just, yeah. I'm getting the high sign. I got to give her.
I feel it in the energy of the communications that I get. She comes through other people too. So,
all right.
If it's a she.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Is she selfish, wanting to keep you for herself or something? I'm kind of wondering.
I don't know.
All right, let's see. Masha's next.
Hello, T.
Hey.
I saw this image of a mother holding a little boy, and I'm curious. I have a question about your emotions. Are you comfortable crying? Are you comfortable being sad? Are you comfortable like collapsing with yourself?
Alone even?
Yeah.
That's something I'm saving to lean into a little later. So, I mean, it's not that I feel uncomfortable. Okay, I do feel uncomfortable with it. But it's more like I don't need to feed that if I don't want to. I don't need to. I don't feel the desire to feed that collapse or that emotional collapse. But I do find interesting about females in my life that I've learned is that they use their emotions. I used to think it was bad, and they would like use their emotions against me to get me to do things. But then I realized they're just expressing themselves, and through that they get people to do things. You know what I mean? And it's just a natural. You know, it's not like anything bad. It's more like it just is. And I'm sorry, women and men and they and everyone does it. Just I feel patriarchal type women do it a lot more. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's softer with more developed people. I don't know. So I don't know.
So replying to that, in a relationship, if you're dating a woman, as women, we are naturally more emotional. And some people might fight on that opinion, but that's my personal opinion. And if it's hard for you to hold yourself in your emotions and be sad and cry and hold your own grief, it's going to be difficult to date someone and hold their emotions, because again, they will express their emotions, you will feel uncomfortable, and then there is, I don't know what's your coping mechanism, but usually fight and flight kicks in when there is, in our own, when we are uncomfortable with ourselves. So as Galactic Ashley said, men's circles is as I see, is your next step, is really get comfortable in your emotions, in your water element. Because I pulled a lot of cards and they
Yes, I'm seeing with men it's even more.
Yeah, I pulled a lot of swords, and that's very mental. It's very like but it's like coming back into your body, coming back into your inner child, and coming back, to your emotions and feeling safe. It almost like I'm seeing that your work now is to kind of reparent your inner child and help yourself to feel safe, because there is also this card, Three of Swords, is a heartbreak. So there might be some heartbreak from the past. But right now, it's because you're conscious, you're capable to take care of yourself. And really, it's gonna be difficult to be with someone if you feel unsafe deep inside with your emotions, not in everything. I'm just talking about the emotions. So yeah. Wishing you good luck, and you got this. It's a beautiful path. I love helping men, and I'm so happy when men show up and ask questions, and like really, it's beautiful. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. I definitely feel the kind of like I got an image of working out with with leaning into the discomfort of emotions and kind of like creating space for yourself, and that teaches you how to create space for other people. I get that now. So I get that concept logically, at least. So yeah.
Anything last thing, that anything that has to do with water will help with that, connecting with the water element.
Great. I would say I mentioned in the chat too, like I've just seen some of the people that you've dated in the past, and you've particularly chosen people that are very emotional. So that's why there's been so much of a difference, and why you have the perspective, T, that you do. Those are the people that you've chosen. So as you choose people that are more like you, that are a bit more intellectual, there won't be the same, say, like demand and need for the emotional connection. So you can both grow into it in your own pacing.
But now I can ninja the emotions out if I need to, except for crying, maybe. But that might be harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Growing into all the things is right. It feels safe. Thanks so much, T, for jumping in.
Thank you.
All right. Next we have Sonia. I know Sonia has been anxious to get up here. Sonia, want to come join us? Oh, Sonia. All right.
Yes,
Hi. What is
Sonia,
your
yes.
question? Sonia. Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, so I was in a relationship for several years, for like 8 years, and then May of this past year, I just walked away from it for a lot of various reasons, but basically stressed out and just couldn't fulfill. I needed to grow, let's put it like that. And so I'm in the process of doing that. And at the very beginning of when I walked away, you know, you have those emotions of, oh, am I doing the right thing? You know, there's fear and doubt and all of that. But I was already taking a personal development coaching program, so that helped me get through a lot of that. Although a lot of that is still with me. But I made a commitment at that time. I booked 2 trips, one for October 2024, and another one for, I think it's February, March of 2025. And I said, I'm going to go on these trips by myself. And I gave myself the 15, 17 months in between May until to the first trip. I'm working on myself with my self-esteem and all kinds of limiting beliefs, and, you know, looking at, you know, what role I played or didn't play, whichever way you look at it, in the relationship. And so I just wanted some opinion on, if people who can pick something up, those of you who can pick something up, you know, am I doing the right thing? Is there more that I need to be doing? You know, I'm also working on my health because my health had declined quite a bit. And, you know, what's in the future? I mean, part of me wants to be in a relationship, but I'm not ready. I'm really not ready. But I still have that desire. So yeah, but I'm open to what anybody has to say.
Maybe I'm curious, could you say a little bit more? You know, you have a knowing that you're not ready. So
yeah, I don't feel like I am because I need to. It's like I've been carrying a lot of baggage. I mean, this is a lifetime thing, and I think this probably, you know, I think all of us have things. We have things from the past. We have things from ancestral things, and I'm spending this time trying to get rid of those things because they're holding me back. So I've just looked at myself from the past, and I tend to get distracted rather than spend time taking care of myself. And that's something I don't want to do in the future. I tend to put all of myself into a relationship and into the person I'm with. And I think that's like a really bad habit, because I end up, you know, like I said, not taking care of myself and not being in good health. So the many things I'm trying to change about myself and move forward on, there's so many of them. I can't do them all at once. But I just feel that if I got interested in someone right now, I would stop doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to form new habits and just
No,
just really take care of me, because I
that's
come
great.
first.
Yeah, it's great. All you're
All
saying
my
is great.
all of my relationships, the other person has come first, and it hasn't always been beneficial for me,
Yeah. Yeah, great. I just want to make sure we have time for all your answers. I know we've got someone else in line afterwards too. So everyone, I'll let you know when you get just before 3 minutes so you know to finish up soon. We've got Susie, Masha, and Dr. Boston.
Hey, Sonia.
Hi,
The first
Sonia.
the first bit of information I got and the things that you spoke to reinforces that the relationships that you have been into, that you have prioritized. People would say, oh, you're prioritizing them. You're not prioritizing yourself. You have this need to rescue people, and seeing you or hearing you say you're not ready for a new relationship, you've shifted that so that you can rescue yourself. Lots of past lives in which you were, that knight in shining armor, damsel in distress, you played all sides of it, but this is the time you get to do exactly what you're doing. I think your plan of action is perfect. You've got to work on your help, because how can you help somebody else if you are not able to? Okay, old metaphor. On the airplanes, they make you put on the oxygen mask first. You've gone without that oxygen mask for so long, so it's time for you to be wearing it and take care of yourself. So I think you are doing exactly what you need to rescue yourself, to be your own hero, your own whatever thing you need to do. Um, what else? No, nope, it's not ancestral. It's definitely past lives. And with the soul contracts that you have taken down, as soon as you said, I'm done, I need to end this relationship because I'm not taking care of myself, you rewrote soul contracts. You said, I'm taking care of myself, which in and of itself is rewriting it, taking out that clause that you had to send all of yourself into it when you aren't ready, when you don't have the emotional resources to do it. So I think you're doing, excuse me, exactly what you need to be doing. I think those trips are going to be very soul filling for you, so that you can come back rejuvenated and recharged. So, yes, your awareness is absolutely spot on. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susie. Next, we've got Masha, then Dr. Boston, then Galactic Ashley.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, when you were talking, I felt your ancestors, and I saw a woman. She was like with a drum, and she's like, hello, I'm here, connect with me, I support you. And then you talked about your health, and then before you talked about it, I was like, there are some health issues. So your ancestors, they want to connect with you, and they have a gift for you. There is something that I'm seeing. They're like, please take this. I'm curious, have you done this before? I'm curious how you are connected with that at all, or no?
You mean like connected with my ancestors?
Yeah.
No, I have not. And yeah, that's something I want to explore. I
Yeah,
mean, if
so
I've done it, I didn't know anything about it. I was not aware, I'll put it like that. So, but I don't think I have.
yeah, so as if we're imagining a tree, our roots are our ancestors, right? We are all like a tree. So the roots are our ancestors. And if there might be also some, we all have trauma, obviously. So there might be something about your family and not feeling safe with what happened in your childhood. But if you can look beyond that and just call on to your healed and unconditionally loving ancestors to come and support you and guide you, because I also get a feeling that you are like, you have magical powers and you're capable of helping yourself in a way like other people can't help themselves. So look for signs. There are, I don't know if you meditate, but I would recommend finding a meditation on YouTube and grounding yourself to the earth, connecting with the earth, imagining yourself as a tree, and then connecting with those roots and ask your ancestors for help and support. And you will feel better. I'm like already feeling it. And they are waiting. They're like, we can't wait for her to see us, to hear us. We are here for her. We really love her and support her. And yeah, whatever's happening in your life, they're saying that they are calling you to your purpose. I can't tell you what your purpose is right now, but you're on this discovery of what your purpose is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Masha.
So,
Dr. Boston.
so I guess somewhere in the future, there's still room for love. There's a song by Mary J. Blige, a new song, and she calls it "I Still Believe in Love," and I like that song because it's like there's still the possibility, and so that's what I'm trying to believe.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And they will help you. They will guide you.
Okay.
All right.
Great. Next are Dr. Boston, Galactic Ashley, Susie, and Crystal. Dr. Boston.
Okay. Hi, Sonia.
Hi, Dr. Boston.
I was going to reiterate what Susie was saying, which is that you're on the right track. I feel a lot of confusion and doubt about your decision, but I wanted to validate it for you, that you're doing the right thing for you. And also I would ask if you think it's true that you work hard to avoid conflict. Do you think that's true?
Oh, do I work hard? I probably do, because I don't like drama.
Okay.
And I've kind of always been like that. So,
what
and
I
even
want
now,
you to know,
yeah.
Okay. What I want you to know for your next relationship, when you're ready for it, and it's a little bit down the road, is that in your efforts to avoid conflict, you're actually doing things to create more conflict, because you don't always want to speak your truth because you're afraid people get mad, because anger is separation and you do not like separation. You want connection with everybody. So what you need to do is learn to speak your truth and say what you want and need, because in your efforts to make everybody else happy first, you are giving up yourself and then building up resentment, and you have to leave in order to get what you need.
Yeah, and I thank you, and I agree with that, because I was taught how not to do that. I was taught not to express myself, not to express anger. I can remember my dad telling me, when you're a little kid, 1 year old, 2 years old, and you want something, you can't have that cookie, and then they cry and then they get over it. And I remember the first time my dad told me, temper, temper. I wasn't even 2 years old, and he shut me down. And so I held all that anger in my whole life. And then my mom wouldn't let me talk when I would try to say something, like little kids talk. And as soon as I start talking, she'd shut me down. So I'm learning how to express myself. And a little bit of what you said, actually, all of that is scary, because then I feel like I won't be accepted or liked. So I kind of got to reprogram everything.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
When you're worried about the separation and not being liked, you actually perpetuate it with your actions and trying to prevent it.
Yeah, I can see how I did that.
I just want you to be aware of that and make some changes with speaking your truth.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I've got.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thanks, Dr. Boston. Next, we've got Galactic Ashley.
So I just want to add on to that. This wasn't the first thing that came through, but voice is really important. So and knowing what your voice is, because what it feels like to me is that you primarily have used your voice to to be the voice of people that don't have voices, which is a lovely thing to use your voice for, to protect others. But you're being asked to use your voice for yourself, to create safety with yourself, to have boundaries, to leave a relationship. And I actually, in my notes, wrote the question, because I was going to ask you, and I don't know that it really matters, but how long ago did you break up? But instead of writing break up, the words break out came up. So I feel like that's a message that you actually broke out of this relationship that you really needed to. One thing
Yeah.
that's beneficial to remember for everybody, and this is definitely coming through for you, is that anytime we're feeling guided to leave a relationship, and especially when it feels really, really hard, there's a really important purpose for that. One is the earth is bringing timelines together right now at this time, and the last year or so, and continuing forward, so that when we break out of a relationship or leave a relationship, it's not just that relationship that we're leaving. That relationship can also be connected to past lives, it can be connected to other timelines, but it is also connected to, if you were in a relationship with a male, it's creating every male that you've ever had an issue with, or that you didn't break away from, but that instead they broke up with you. All of the times that maybe you were meant to use your voice to say something have all kind of like come into this one relationship in this nice little ball, even though it feels like a giant ball. The reason why it's so hard is because we're having the opportunity to move through all of these patterns in this one relationship. So that's why it becomes so potent, and why it becomes so powerful, and why it can become quite empowering for you to have left this relationship. And then the other thing is that it's not from, obviously not personal experience, but from observation and talking with friends, it's not safe for a Black body to express anger. Period. It's not safe. And so this
Yeah.
is not something that obviously that you are not experiencing alone, but this all comes with your voice, and to be able to voice your emotions in a way, in a safe space. So for you, this might be going to a group of people that also have dark bodies, so that you can actually feel safe being angry, or feel safe having emotions, without having to whitewash it, or make it to tone yourself down, so that you can make other people feel comfortable. Because this is really a period of time for you to one, know the difference between what it means to be by yourself versus to be with yourself, so that you can go into the next phase of your life, and to really feel the light that wants to come through you. And then the other thing, you don't have to answer this, but I was getting that there's esophageal and stomach issues, and it might feel
Yeah.
connected to ancestors or whatever, but that was the very first thing that came through, which oftentimes comes because of emotional blockages. So I would keep taking care of that. But that is a really big primary issue. So these things that aren't getting expressed, your physical structure is actually trying to digest them, and it can't, because they need to actually leave the body. And okay, and then I'm gonna get off. But the other thing is that I feel that this next trip is gonna be really awesome for you to be you. And I actually sort of was feeling like you might meet somebody on that second trip that you have planned on the 25th.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking that
Okay.
too. All right. Thank you. And just to throw this out, Lorelei, would you put everybody's contact information on there? How can we get in touch with all the
Yeah,
readers?
I did. I just put
Okay,
it in the chat, and I know you're not on the chat, so we just want to make sure that I have an email, I can send it to you all. It's on the Facebook event too. So if you just find the
Oh, is
Facebook
it
event
okay?
for this, and if you on MeWe Fairs it's hard on a phone to find the past events, but on a computer you can find the past events. So after this one's over, but yeah, all the contact info is there, and you can write me, and I'll send it to you afterwards also.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
everyone.
And a lot of people offer specials. So let's see. Susie and Crystal still have something for you. So Susie, I think a little bit more. If I remember, you
okay.
already shared some. And Crystal's got.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Sonia, I got one more thing. Earlier, I talked about energy reclamation. reclaiming one's power. And the way I phrased it that time was, you took my energy, I want it back. But in your case, I would recommend you say, I gave you energy, I want my, or power, I need it back. I deserve to have my energy back. And then whatever energy or power the relationships have left with you, then you give those people back their power. I think that's going to help you, again, regain your sovereignty and potentially help you express more feelings around these things. Yeah, that's what I got, is to reclaim your power from these past relationships.
Okay. Yeah.
I can say two things as
Yeah,
we
she
switch
was an
over to
energy
Crystal.
vampire.
I say
Okay,
so.
Crystal.
So playing with Susie, like what you're saying with Galactic Ashley, it might even be like, I'm taking it back. No more of this asking.
Yeah.
I'm taking it back.
That's what that's what I feel like, because it was, an energy vampire. It was an energy vampire situation. It sucked the life out of me. That's really what I
do
feel
have
like.
one more comment about energy vampires. They keep taking energy because it's not resonant with them. So the energy you provided them didn't resonate, so they just kept sucking you dry. So that's when clearing and protecting and throwing up protection around you, which is source. So they latch onto source and then get whatever they need from source, but leave you clean and clear. Okay, really, I'm done now. Thanks.
And
Okay,
I
that's
started
okay. I'll be in touch with you.
and I started off with the wrong
Go ahead.
pronunciation, so I'm just correcting it for all of us again. Sonia, right? All right, Crystal.
Yes, it is.
What's next?
Hey, Sonia.
Hi, Crystal.
Echoing some of what's been said, yes, I see a distortion in your fifth chakra, which is in the throat. It's also the center associated with will. So you are beginning to reclaim this center. And also what Galactic Ashley said about the esophageal and the stomach stuff. So it sounds, do you sing at all?
I sing like in the shower. I'm a shower singer.
Right.
So I don't really, but
you have like some songs that like you just like get into it and you can really just like belt it out and really feel it.
Yes.
Okay. So I would really encourage you, and nobody else has to be home. You can even do it in your car when you're driving, but allow yourself to feel all that stuff and sing it and get it to come out and really use your voice to do that and feel how that feels when you're embracing all that depth of emotion that singer's doing it and you're joining right along with them and you're getting to have that experience of having your voice sound out and say all those things that you are feeling in that moment.
Okay.
The other thing I saw when, I audition in my car all the time. The other thing I saw was you like bending over and looking at this little tiny heart bud that's coming out. Like you're just, come on, little heart bud. Oh, I see you. You're so cute. It's like you got this little heart that's starting to bloom and you're bringing it along and it's just adorable. So good on you. You're doing the work, but you don't have to do it alone. Like Masha said, your ancestors want to help. And there's like all these angels and guides are standing in line, like almost elbowing each other, like, get out of my way. I'm helping her. I want to be on her team. She's amazing. But you have to tell them that they can do it.
Oh, is that it? Because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So,
hey, universe, I didn't know I had to do that. Yes, please. All my angels and guides and everybody, please come and walk with me. Support me on my path. Bring this light to me. You're not letting yourself have any light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and as I say that and you're holding that thought, now I can begin to see you even making that shift, and that little heart, if it sounds like the Grinch, just grew 3 times.
Okay. I try to talk to my ancestor. Well, I try to talk to God every day while I walk. I've been walking 108 days straight.
Yeah.
And my goal is to get to 20 years. I want to walk every day for 20 years. So I met this guy 20 years ago and he's been walking every day for 20 years. And I'm like, I'm going to do that too. When I get to 20, he'll have done it for 40. But yeah, while I walk, I talk to God, I pray, and we have a conversation.
And
so I'll start asking for that.
And I'm hearing that during your walk to look for little signs like feathers or random coins or trinkets that show up, or
Mhm.
a bird that flies across your path, or just these will be confirmations to you from the earth, from Mother Earth, as well as the spirit realm, that they are walking with you and supporting you as you're doing this
Okay.
work.
Okay, great.
Yeah. And then just one last thing. Do you do affirmations?
Um, I used to do them all the time and they didn't really seem to work.
Okay.
So I still try to think positive, but I don't actively do them like I used to.
How about my best life is before me?
Okay.
My best relationships are before me.
Okay.
And I am that which I seek to be.
I am that which I seek to be. Okay.
And maybe can you say a little bit more, Crystal, what you mean by before?
Yeah, thanks, Lorelai. Because I was like, wait a minute.
Well, my best life is
Like it's
before my best
like
life.
it's coming up. Like it's coming up,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there that I'm stepping into my future. My best life is before me. I'm not looking backwards. I'm planting seeds to walk forward. I'm creating that vibration by holding that affirmation, because an affirmation is a conscious intent, and we create our future one moment at a time. So when you consciously choose in that moment to hold that intent, my best life is before me, then that's where you're stepping towards. And you're consciously making that choice. You're consciously setting up the energy to flow to that place.
Okay.
And so I got one last one on that. I affirm and confirm that no person, place, nor thing, not even myself, can come between me and my highest good.
Yes. I like that one.
Yeah, because like what I'm hearing is like, yeah, I'm all that. I'm all that. Get out of my way. I'm all that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I got to jump off, but thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Absolutely.
And I got a couple of quick things. So a general,
Okay.
like, a bit more of a general and a specific. So when there's a next person, what if that next person is someone who helps you
Yeah,
focus
when
on
is
your
that?
own? What if that person helps you focus on your own growth journey? So it's not that you stop this when you're with that person. What if that person's on their own growth journey also, and they support you and encourage you to also focus on yours? So you keep
That would
growing
be
while you're with
wonderful.
them.
That would be wonderful because the past relationship was not like that. They were energy vampires. So I encouraged them. They didn't encourage me. I had nothing left. I had
And
nothing left.
and then specifically in terms of resources and energy, I encourage you to play with the infinity symbol. You know, like I was thinking like at first ping pong and tennis, and like where you're giving and receiving and back and forth, and it's back and forth, and so that it's so much both directions and it's not just one direction, feeling like one direction.
Yes. Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. All right, great. Thank you so much, Sonia.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all.
You are welcome. All right. All right, let's see. We've got one more question, and it's an anonymous question. Let's see. So I'm going to read out the question. Let's make sure that okay, that this person's ready. I'm going to call them M. Okay. So their question is, and I have some photos that I'm going to work with from my part. So I may end up answering first. So I've been really working on being true to myself and setting boundaries with my ex. I've also recently been told I have a type and that I should try dating other kinds of people. Given this, 1, should I move on from the person I've been seeing, or is there potential for a conscious healing relationship, even if it's not long term? Do I have spiritual contracts with the people I've dated? How am I doing with being authentic to myself? Is there any part of myself that I haven't been fully exploring? What are the main gifts I have to offer? A lot of questions in there, so we'll see what we can address. I think it should be okay. I've read it out, so I think it should be okay that I put it in the chat. So I'm just going to put it in the chat. So if you want to refer back to it, you can do that. Yeah, so people are appreciating this great question. Yeah. Okay, let's see. So now I've got some photos. So does anyone, if anyone has something they want to go ahead, or I'm just gonna, I'll just leap in. Okay, let's see. And you mentioned that you're familiar with my thrive types. So the thrive types are the archetypes that I read in people. And so the talents that I suspect that you have are love, inspiration, and creativity. You can show yourself. Do you, hold on, let's see. You can show yourself. Do you want to come up on the, do you not want it to be anonymous, or do you want me to just show a photo of you? What do you want me to do?
I could just, if they can read, if it can reads me, if they can read me better, I don't mind being on video if that gives
Okay.
people a better
Yeah,
connection.
I think that probably would. Okay, so I'm just going to put you up here in video.
Hi.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for being here. All right, great. Yeah, so I think that you've got, you most likely have love, inspiration. It's either knowledge or creativity. And in your photos, it feels a bit more like creativity. So feelings and emotions and energy are really what you're about. Does that resonate for you?
Yes, yes. And I think the knowledge toss-up one also seems accurate because I feel like I am pretty intellectual, but I think I prioritize the feeling
Mm-hmm. Feelings and also energy. Do you
more,
say
a bit
energy?
more, even though I do have like an intellectual side.
And do you have a lot of different, but do you get more interested in new ideas, or you're interested also in gathering what's known and remembering what's known?
I think the new ideas.
Yeah, so you might have a parent that had the intellectual part, and you really more are about energy and ideas and beauty. So the part of you that wants to be so intellectual, that might be a mask, and that might be something that's getting in your way. The people that you've, some of the people like the ex definitely feels more intellectual, doesn't feel like he connects very well emotionally. So that definitely was not supportive of you that way, like he couldn't see you, couldn't meet you. And but it's that you're attempting to get seen by someone that's intellectual. So part of it is like maybe grieving that you're not intellectual the way our society expects and the way a parent expected, and how you didn't get the love that you really wanted from that parent. And then the recent person, I think, is more emotional, and that's better. So in that way, it feels like it could be healing in that there's some good connection. And one photo is just kind of funny, like he's just being goofy. So I can't really see his eyes in the other one, so I can't feel in as
So
deeply.
Okay, I can send you
But-
another one.
But how much personal
Yeah.
growth does this person do? How much do they really focus on that?
I think they do. I don't think they have like the esoteric spiritual side to them as much as I do, you know, but I think they are like really trying to focus on themselves right now. And really, they said they did go through like a painful breakup and they have been coming out of that. And I'm really drawn to it, but I also feel like maybe I'm ruminating and just going more with the flow, but it's just difficult when you do feel
Yeah,
something.
and so this is where like so trying to touch my fingers is like this. It's not actually doing it. And the word you used for him is that he's trying to grow, like trying to focus on himself. So on the one hand, it's not that something that he so easily naturally does, that he's definitely doing it. And so just based on the nature of your questions, it's clearly something that's a part of your life. It's an important part of who you are. And the love energy can also get lost in caretaking a little bit, and the inspiration energy can get lost in focusing on potential and not where someone really is. So I encourage you to, it's a better connection than the last one. Enjoy what it is now. And it doesn't seem like he's meeting you, pacing you, and he's just not in the best place right now. But I don't think even as he's healing through that, he's necessarily going to be there. He might, but it just doesn't seem like that's really been his journey. So this seems like a step right now where you're stepping to someone that's better. He probably also has creativity too. I mean, so some things are a better connection with him. So that seems really good. And then, yeah, so letting go of the intellectual part of you and really focusing on the emotional, energetic, creative part of you. Yeah, and just seeing how more and more you can shift your life that way. That seems like that's what would be supportive. All right, so we've got Masha, Boston, and Galactic Ashley. Masha.
Hello. I'm curious, what is your relationship with receiving?
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable
No, I know that
receiving?
I've been told like the past probably 8 years since I've been coming to these sort of things, that's like my big thing that I think that, yeah, it's like kind of like that self-worth or like kind of that part. And I don't think it's like because my mom raised me this way. I think it's more of a mirror, so to speak, more so than like because she made me this way. But I was brought up by a very strong mother who kind of, I think she's kind of rebelling against the fact that like women should just be, it's kind of like you need to put in your part. Or so I feel like that kind of has like a kind of feminist thing has kind of been part of me, and that just probably is partially just who I am. But yeah, I've been working on trying to just be like, I deserve to be loved and I deserve to receive and have and not have to like work for it necessarily. And that's the challenge, but I think I'm getting better about it with some of the life decisions I've made the past couple years.
Thanks for sharing that. I mean, before you even came up speaking, I felt a lot of fire and strength in you. And when I pulled a card and I pulled Hathor, receptivity, receiving, and I want to just bring this thought that receiving does not equal abusing someone's care, right? Receiving is that it doesn't equal, taking away something that the person doesn't want to give. So I also have a sense that you like to give. And as much as you like to give, some people also like to give. So that's where, again, I still sense some limiting beliefs around receiving. And that's why I'm bringing this up, is like receiving, again, doesn't have to be, you brought up the feminist thing, and yes, it's important to have an equal exchange, right, in the relationship. And it's just, in the society, we have this picture where the man gives, the woman receives, and if it's not this way, then we're broken, right? So let's cleanse that, release that. Like, we don't have to be that. We don't have to stick to that stigma. But it is very beautiful when you can allow yourself to be in the receiving. And then what I'm sensing is there is a feeling of unsafety with that, with the receiving. So how can you cultivate safety in your body? Because it's a memory in your body that receiving is unsafe in a way. So how can you do that? And I would recommend somatic healing and safe touch, maybe safe Reiki touch or Tantra, but not red Tantra. There are, more just loving, focused on heart Tantra. So yeah, getting yourself in the spaces where you are safe and you can receive safely with consent. That's it.
Thanks, Masha. Next is Dr. Boston.
Hi. What I get for you is that you have a strong desire and belief that being loving and compassionate is the primary goal, because you're trying to heal people through the emotion and the love that you're giving them. And that's true, but there's also a need to stay balanced, because as several of us have said tonight, that if you don't feel love for yourself, you can't give it. You can't be effective at that. And I also heard you say the phrase, I deserve. That's a hard phrase for you to use. So I would encourage you to change it to I need.
I need. Okay.
I need to be seen. I need to be respected. I need to be loved. I need affection. Get rid of the phrase I deserve. It won't work for you.
Thank you.
Okay. It's super important.
No,
So,
and it sounds funny, but like I know that's so true. It just, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Language is a fun thing.
It is, and it matters. And so for you, being loving and compassionate, you want to do that. You want to be a healer, and you can still do that. It's not an either or thing, but it has to be balanced out with some self-care. So boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. Value yourself enough. Okay. That's all from me.
Thanks, Dr. Boston. Galactic Ashley's next.
Hi. Thank you for showing us yourself because it's fine, but it also makes it a lot easier if there's like a voice or a something. Okay, so I love that Dr. Boston said I need versus the I deserve because it is so challenging. This is like one of the most underrated things I think that is out there to be able to identify our needs, especially if in early childhood they were unmet needs and now we're identifying that we have needs, and then to actually voice them and to say them out loud. This is like it's very challenging. It's not simple, and it's one of the most like transformative things that we can do. And at its face, it seems really simple, but it's not. So I'm glad that that was pointed out. You don't have to answer this question, but was there a child with the X? There's like there feels to be like a third.
Oh, there's a dog. There's a dog that he have a dog and he considers the dog me the mother of the dog, and he calls me.
All right, because there's like a third, like there's an immediately like a third party energy that sort of like came up. And so I don't know, are you okay with not being a part of that dog's life anymore?
That dog is getting very old. That dog is like a brown, like a 60-pound lab that's like 17.
Okay, so I don't know if you need to go say bye to that dog or something, but there's something about this third party energy. So if you know that it's the dog and there isn't something else that's going on, or this don't answer or don't respond, but if there was ever like a miscarriage or like anything between the two of you, or if there's this energy, so it's probably the dog. So I would maybe go, I don't know if you're still communicating. If you don't see each other, then don't do this and just do it like in your own space and like connect with the dog and have like I love you, thank you, and like bye, because it feels like in order for you to move on in any relationship, including the one that you're currently in, that there needs to be some hard boundaries set with this with the ex. The other thing is that the relationship that you are in, like it feels fine, but there was a question is, should you leave or is there room for growing? To me, this is just me just saying this, also feeling that I should say this, right? Is that works like if you're transparent with the other person, like, look, I don't really see this going anywhere. However, I feel like we can grow, so that both parties, like one person isn't feeling used or thinks that they're going to change the other person to make them stay longer. So both of you know that there's something for you to learn, and then you can stay in that relationship knowing that it's not long term, then that works. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. What feels like you're really being asked to do right now is that the terms like getting your spiritual house in order, and that you're being asked to go through spiritual initiations. And what immediately came up is like spirituality is really important to you. A lot of times when you're dating, sometimes the other person makes your spirituality seem like a hobby. And so for me personally, there is nothing even remotely hobby oriented about my spirituality. It is like every single day, all of the time, it's what I quote unquote do for a living as acts of service. There is no like, oh, this is a thing that I do over here, and then this is the rest of me. Being able,
not that, yeah.
Yeah, so being able to own that and really like getting your spiritual house in order and saying, this is who I am. Because as you do that, I actually do see somebody that's very integrative and aligned with you. That is, I'm just gonna say out there, that's like a really good match. Like I see you like back to back, just sort of like entwined. I don't know when. I'm not even gonna mess around with that. But this is because there feels to be like some spiritual initiations that are going, balancing fire and water, using your voice, feeling grounded, and all of these things, and setting boundaries and anchoring some like serious stuff in, and working with there's some ancestral lineage and healing stuff also. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you.
Great, thanks. It's like, how much can we fit into a short time? Crystal's next, and then Susie.
Hello. Ditto, 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 all the way around the board. Totally, everybody's right on point. The one thing that was coming up as you were talking, especially about in your childhood, is getting hit with this energy that being creative and compassionate and how you are is not practical.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. Find a real job. Find, like you should be in a cubicle or whatever.
Yeah.
That,
That's my father. And then, it's like the best, but I feel like there's a part of me that might, like, he's just not like a judgmental, super pressuring person, but he's still just like, have you applied to jobs, or like, and I think I feel like just going to Western Washington University here in Bellingham instead of Duke, for instance, is a good example of kind of how I haven't gone completely, I'm not like completely just doing things that make myself sound impressive, but I guess there is like a level of that influence for sure. I think I go down it because I want to feel like, I think I have a hard time if I don't have structure. Sometimes I feel like I get overwhelmed because I just see so many different possibilities.
right.
I'm like, oh my God, this is like too much. And then I'm like, okay, I kind of want something to walk, not so rigid where I can't remember there's
Yeah.
other things, but I think I get a little bit too like all over the place if I don't have some sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of
So I think that bleeds into your relationships too. It's like picking partners, somebody who will create this structure for you so that you can stay in between the lines, kind of, you know what I mean? But then that alters the whole power dynamic in the relationship. Because what happens if their little box that they've made for you to fit in so that you say don't spread out everywhere, then now you're confined.
exactly, and that's kind of with the last thing, and
Yeah.
I think that, yeah, anyway, it's just good to hear. I feel like we all have these, I know these things, but I think hearing it from other people, it's just I feel like everything's a message,
Yeah.
and you just have to hear things 10,000 times.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it being another, and I really am working on it, but it just so much, it's so simple and yet so difficult all at once. But yeah, I appreciate hearing it.
Well, there's not a lot of room in our society for that. There's not a lot of room for that. There's a lot of pressure to conform and to do, like you were just saying, well, that's not very practical. The other underlying energy I kind of heard under that as well was implying that you might be a little bit crazy or a little bit too out there with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like whenever I get really high, I'm like, I'm gonna be a spiritual healer and move to Hawaii and just be like this thing. And then I get scared, and then I feel like I'm still somewhat true to myself in that I do try to like live by my values and be like have a big heart and to like try to help the environment. That's always been like my biggest passion, is in people's hearts and minds. Because I do think I think I'm a bridge. I like this. I think my mom says I'm like a bridge where I think I can talk to the intellectual people. I think I'm more on the emotional values, but I know that I think our problem with our society is that we're too much in our head. We're too intellectual, and I think that's why we miss all these signs, because we're thinking about biological.
Yes.
Everything's in the logos when we really need to connect. And I think I can kind of integrate the two. So
And
I
they're
think the more I think about it, I think that's what I'm doing with this school stuff. I'm studying energy, and the more very literal, the more tangible electron kind of energy. But then, you talk about spirituality, it's also energy. So I feel like it kind of has a lot of meanings where I feel like I'm kind of trying to translate. but at the same time, I don't know if that's what's best for me. And I'm determined to finish this because that's, you know what, I started this, but like, it's
Yeah.
not because you get the degree doesn't mean you have to be locked into that. But I
Well,
just go back and forth all the time between
the degree will just be a piece of paper you can wave at everybody that tries to get in your face about that you're not practical. Here's your piece of paper. I did this. You know what I mean? So I'm getting Lorelai's little signal, but I gotta wind it up. But insofar as school goes, did you ever consider going to Evergreen University down in Olympia?
No, well, I'm not from this area, actually. I'm from Maryland originally. And
So that is an alternative college
yeah.
where the way you can write your own program and it's accredited. So if Western's not a good fit for you, I would just encourage you to.
It's okay. And I've been pretty self-directed. No, it's okay. No, I feel like it's okay. It's okay. I just mean just getting a degree, period, like getting that piece of paper. But yeah, anyway, I feel like, you know, I'm reading what Laureli has to say, and I just feel that's just been like my constant struggle is, do I try to like talk to people who I feel like are less awake and try to translate? And I feel like that's been like my whole thing, you know, and I feel like I'm good at it, but then sometimes I feel like for me, I just want to be with other people who are, yeah, exactly, speaking the same language. And I feel like I just always get so torn because I think I want to heal, and I feel like I see both sides. I'm a Libra, you know, I see the side of like talk to the lower ground and try to get it up, or you're just in the higher ground and you work your magic that way. And it's very, yeah, I struggle.
Yeah.
Just like choosing, I'm like, oh, this is so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you gave your elevator speech while you were talking to me about who you are and what your purpose is. And maybe you won't recall it all, and this will be recorded and you can go back and fast forward to here and listen to what everybody said. But I want you to go back and listen to what you said when everybody said, but in particular, how you were responding to me, because you were so eloquent. You explained exactly how you feel, where you feel passion, where you feel comfortable being who you are, where you feel in alignment with yourself. And as a Libra, that is a hard thing to do.
And I feel like in the whole authenticity thing, right? Because you see the sides, even if so I feel like I lose myself, not because I'm trying to get approval per se, as much as just being like, oh, that's a valid point. Having safety and security and material possessions like that's a legit cause. You know, so I think I kind of lose a little bit of myself in that.
When all these people are on this panel, they will tell you, if you were to talk to them and interview them, they would tell you about their journey in walking with spirit in this world. And when you're aligned with yourself and doing your passion, the other stuff starts to take care of itself. Your money shows up, your work shows up, the support, the resources, it all shows up.
It's not part of the logos that you're you know, and I feel like my higher self knows that, but it's just so hard when you're constantly inundated. And it's not bad intentioned. And you know, there are people who are manipulative who do want us to stay, but then there's just people who are in that who just they think that's the way. And you know, it is a place of love or fear or whatever you want to say. You know, but it's not a bad,
right?
You know, it's not like they're trying to keep you down. You know,
not everybody, but you know,
I mean, there are people like that, but
yeah,
I know we've
not
set up on.
like my dad.
Sorry, we're a bunch of minutes later of the panel. So go ahead, Crystal, if you want to.
And I would encourage you to come back, but I know that we still have another practitioner. Susy's got stuff to say too, so I'm going to bounce. But you nailed it. So come back and listen, because you nailed it. In fact, I would find a way to record it, and so you can.
No, I know what I'm saying. I've like been high enough times. I've realized on so many levels. It's kind of like it's my sober mind, my intellectual mind, my high mind. Like I feel like that all my minds kind of know that, and that's just been kind of something that
it was like 40. It was like 45 seconds before you told your story about wondering about wanting to like move to Hawaii and all that I wrote when you're going to join us on this side of the panel.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because you're in college now. What?
I mean, I went back. I was in a relationship where I think it helped me to feel more grounded and secure within myself because I was in a very ungrounded spot. Mm-hmm. And I think he really does and did and does love me in the way that he knows how to love someone. But yeah, it did feel kind of limiting. Like he'd say, like, you don't know what you want. And it's not like, and I think when you're taught things about people who limit you, it's because it's bad intent, and it wasn't bad intent. It was just,
Yeah.
I think he wanted me by his side, and to kind of, and if I'm out going 50 million places, then I'm not by his side, and that's
Well, that's his
that was
problem.
limited. Yeah, and
Sorry,
then
I just don't want.
I'm
We
go.
got to shift. We got more. We got
Sorry. Anyway, I
Susie
wish I
wants
could
to
talk
share
more.
in Galactic Acid. This is where you get to work with us afterwards too. So, but just what is your age?
26.
Okay, yeah, I'll show you the photo of someone else that's a much better fit for you, who's been one of our practitioners that's closer to your age now, just so energetically you could feel it. I'll send you a photo. It's Josh. Those of you that are, I think that's his name. I have to go look it up. He was 23 when he was doing fairs with us a few years ago. So just as an example. And yes, this is our last question, everyone. We're just about to finish up. Susie, Galactic Ashley wants to share a little bit more, and we're enjoying you very much. Okay, Susie, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I've noticed when you first came on, I noticed that trying to take this mask off was really uncomfortable. But as you've spoken, not only have you spoken your truth more, that blanket is gone and the energy is shifted. So it's understandable that you need to be in a space where you feel safe so you can speak that truth and you can talk about all of the things. I love it when people sit with me and they at an event and they go, this may sound a little weird. And my thought is, do you know where you're at? You're at a
Story of my life.
MeWe
Story of my
event.
life. I'm working on not apologizing. Like, I still say the kook stuff, but I always say this is kooky. But now I'm trying to work on not.
Don't apologize.
I'm
Don't
working on that.
apologize.
It's just a bad habit. It's just
You
a bad habit.
it is trauma related is what it is. It is trauma related. Somebody who is, I think it's mentally abused, which leads me to my next part. You are showing yourself whatever. So that's a new thing. Honestly, what I'm thinking your next steps would be to do that inner child work, to talk to that inner child, those inner children of you who were a reflection or something for your mom, and let them know essentially you've got to reparent them in a way that's going to make you feel whole and complete. Doesn't mean you go, ooh, mom was so bad. You're like, this is where we're at right now. These are the people we know and have around us. And that is vastly important for your growth, to assure these inner children to shift that energy. You're reframing energy left and right because you're going to college, you're talking about these things you want to do, and it's amazing. You asked about what was it, soul contract? I don't see any leftover soul contracts right now. I think in the work that you've been doing, you have rewritten them in a way that you are truer to yourself, which is really important. Your main gift that I am seeing is that you are what I call a thesaurus. You know enough about different things, you're making those different connections and able to explain that to people in such a way. My most recent thesaurus experience, I was at an event and these two women sat down. They said, we're atheist and we don't know what we want to know. And I said, okay, fine. And so I showed them, I had a pendulum with me and I started working it. I said, if you want to listen to your body, that's great. Use a pendulum. And I saw them looking at my hand to see if I was changing the direction of it. Whether I've switched them over to some sort of spiritual path, that's not my job to worry about. But I was able to explain to them, this is one way to trust what your body is telling you. So as a thesaurus, you can say, okay, we see God, source, flying spaghetti monster. I don't care what you call it, but it's something outside of you. Same thing with inner children or past lives or whatever. That's a tremendous gift to be able to explain things to folks in such a way that they have that moment where they see, oh, this is connected. So being able to talk about energy on the scientific level, that's awesome. I do that all the time. Energy's connected. As you heal, I heal. As I heal, you heal, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what I got. And I'm so excited for you on this journey you're embarking on. Well done.
All right, and Galactic Ashley's got a little bit more too.
I just very briefly, what are you getting your degree in?
It's called environmental sciences, but it's like energy, environmental systems, concentration. I'm doing something with like a environmentally friendly building material made of hemp. It's like insulation for like buildings, but it's made of hemp. So I feel like it's kind of double because on one way it keeps us warm and comfortable in our homes, and it saves electricity and gas, but it also is made of hemp, which like absorbs carbon. So it's like I feel like it kind of feels like it's true to me in that there's like the tangible physical, sure, it's helping climate change, but it's also hopefully bringing people's awareness into tangible things that they can do to do their part and maybe open their minds a little bit more to other things, like kind of that bridge work. But then other times I'm like, should I do more energy, just direct healing? Like I kind of, maybe I can do both. But
Let's see if I can talk without barking for a second. So you're clearly not dropping out of school, which is great because don't do that. And I just got her really hard. Like stay in school. I know it doesn't make sense right now, and you don't have to know, but like this is all gonna come into alignment later and help with your healing and spiritual practice like later. But don't worry about it. But this is a necessary component, but you don't need to know right now, so don't even worry about
that's
it.
good. Well, I wasn't gonna. I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm trying to trust that even in this, I'm still on the right path or towards where I'm going.
Yeah.
Heading in the right direction. So that's
It's great.
affirming.
Yeah, so my degree was in molecular biology, right? And I did a graduate degree too. Like, so you don't go to grad school. It's totally helpful if you're a bunch of way through. Yeah, totally finish. My degree's got me in other places, got me to the path where I'm here. But clearly, I don't need to use the concrete thing of the degree, and a lot of people don't. But you're so far through. Yeah, finish up. But yeah, don't go to grad school in the same thing. I would recommend not doing that. And yeah, you totally have the natural capacity to do energy healing and do intuitive work. You're really gifted. So. And you don't have to make it like a leap off the cliff, sudden change. It can be a stepwise thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for coming tonight, and thanks for asking a question. This has been great fun. If
Just
any
one
of you,
more. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
Oh, well, do you think I'm still in Bellingham, Washington right now? I've been just trying to be like, I like need to make a decision. Just let wherever I go present
You've
itself.
got to
But
go to a place that's energetically sensitive. Bellingham's a reasonable place to be, and it sounds like you're doing a senior project on this material.
a thesis,
A
like a
thesis, yeah.
master's.
Yeah. Oh, you're a master's, did you say? You're already in grad school? Goodness. Yeah. Well, how far in are you?
So I'm about to finish hopefully in May.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit off balance, but not too off balance.
Finish up, be done, and then yeah, you want to be in an energetically sensitive place. Bellingham is, a lot of the islands are. Seattle is not particularly, Portland is better, but yeah, and Eugene is better. Like, so definitely be in an energetically sensitive place and be in a place with lots of conscious people where you can grow this in yourself, because yeah, you've got a future here.
Thank you. I wish could I
right.
talk to you? Is there a way I could talk to you that wouldn't incur?
I do a
That'd be more
20-minute complimentary. Yes, you can talk to us. A bunch of us, some of us, we all do different things. Some of us do sliding scale, and we'll have some
I would want to
conversations
give
with you
that.
as like a mentoring conversation, a
I
brief
would,
one. Yeah. So
yeah, and I would want to like, it kind of be like a circular thing where and then I could help someone else and not.
people might be open to trading. Yeah. So all kinds of ways of working with us.
Okay.
All right,
Thank you.
great. Thank you so much for jumping on, and thank you so much for jumping on so we could actually see you and connect with you and we could talk to you. It's great.
I was just trying to save time. That's why I was texting you.
No.
I can
All
ramble
right.
off when I'm asking questions too. So
Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you everyone for
Laureli.
being here. You are welcome. Thank you everyone for being here with us tonight. Thank you panelists for staying on late. Let's go around and reintroduce ourselves so everyone knows who you are as they go back and watch the video again. This is just great and juicy. Great questions tonight. Great people asking questions. A lot of fun. All right, let's see. So order, I'm all dizzy. And why don't we go backwards and like Masha, Galactic, Ashley, and I don't know what order we were in. Is it Susy, Crystal, Boston, maybe? So Masha, go ahead and tell us who you are, what you do, and how people can reach you.
Yes, my name is Masha, and I'm a psychic tarot reader and a clinical hypnotherapist, and I help people to create loving, beautiful, passionate relationships with themselves and others. My website is lovesexspirituality.com. And yes, I do different kinds of readings. It's a unique dish come talk to me. I have a free 15-minute consultation and we will create your own unique recipe.
And I'm going to say it again. If you've said it, it's lovesexspirituality.com, and it's also lovesexspirituality@gmail.com. Great. Galactic Ashley.
Okay, I was like, I think I'm next. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for coming. I'm still Galactic Ashley. I haven't shape-shifted in anything else yet. I channel guidance for those seeking intimacy with the divine as source originally intended. I use light language frequencies and work with your soul's guidance system to facilitate high frequency healing transmissions and encoded activations. I have a 9-week light language course, which starts February 28th, and there's still some seats available. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and reach out to me and sign up for a free discovery session, or just go to my website. You can also, I offer a lot of free things and have a lot of stuff coming up, and you can really find exactly what's going on. I'm on Instagram at galacticashley.activates. Thank you.
And there's a coupon in the chat for a $25 coupon off program we have coming up. All right, great. Susie's next.
I'm Susy Parker Goins of Blue Lightning Healing. You can go to my website, bluelightninghealing.com. You're going to find it's a little bit out of date. I'm having a little problem with it. So how about you email me at Susy, S-U-S-Y, at bluelightninghealing.com. I'm a channel for source and that presents in such ways to make you feel comfortable and at ease, so we can identify blockages, however those show up, whether it's a past life or soul contracts, talking to ancestors, doing whatever we need in the moment to help you move forward. I do body scans and just whatever we need. I'm going to be in Seattle this weekend with Laureli and everybody at the Swedish Club. And you can go to my Instagram account. What is it called? bluelightninghealing.com. What a concept. I also have a Facebook page by the same name that are far more up to date on events. Looking forward to talking to y'all again, whether it's online or in person. Thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Susie. Crystal.
I'm Crystal Novak. I'm a psychic reader, conscious channel, and also do energy work. You can reach me at openheartpathllc@gmail.com, or you can go to my website, which is openheartpathllc.com. Did I just say that? Oh, well, either way, just put Gmail at the end or .com at the end, and either way, you can get a hold of me. And if you go to my website, then you can read more about me. I need to upgrade it because I'm offering mentoring or coaching as well, which would then be an individual free consultation with you about something that you want to shift or change. And then we can talk about that and how to set that up and what that would look like for you. If you've been here in the panel tonight in the audience, then you've got an opportunity to hear what I've had to say. And if that sparks for you and you feel a connection, then please reach out. I will also be at the MeWe Fair this weekend in the Swedish Club in Seattle. So if you want to come and see me there, I'll be there. We'll get a chance to talk in person. And thank you for being here tonight. It was a great panel. I really appreciated being able to be here and be a participant. Thank you.
Thanks, Crystal. Dr. Boston is next. Dr. Boston will be in Seattle this weekend also. Oh, you're muted. Let's get you unmuted.
Sorry. I'm Dr. Boston Carter. I have a unique set of skills that I've been gaining over the last almost 30 years. I have a doctorate in depth psychology. I'm a medical intuitive. I channel Lemurian healing energy, and I use astrology and a model called Archedomi to help you create your dream life. I want to take you from 1 to 10 on the scale of happiness in your life. I have a coaching program called Adept to Life, and I use it to help you over a 12-week period find your dreams coming true. And the cost for not learning how to love yourself is a lifetime of what has been your past. So I look forward to meeting you. And you can find me at humanadifferentway.com. My phone number is there on the placard that's making up my background, as well as a QR code for my homepage. And my email address is boston@elementalpatterns.com.
Great. Thanks so much, Boston. I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader, body psychology coach, and matchmaker. You can find out more about me at intuitiveeyereading.com, the archetypes at thrivetypes.com, and coaching, body psychology, and all that at thrive-wise.com. I will be at the fair this weekend as well. There are going to be a whole group of us at this Swedish club in Seattle. It's just a few blocks north of the city. We've got a lot of easy parking. We'll be open 11 to 7 and 11 to 5. We do intuitive panels like this and many more of us at 11 a.m. both days. And we're going to have special events. We're going to have intuitive painting. We will have past lives, workshop on past lives, group readings and DIY with Susy. We're having that. And we're also going to have a Connect with Your Guides workshop on Sunday morning. So there's a ton going on. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. This has been great fun. We look forward to having another panel with you on grief and peace and all those kinds of things next week. And we have a practice circle this Thursday. So this Thursday afternoon practice circle, and we've got 7 other practitioners and me are going to be there with you as you open your gifts and practice doing readings and healings with your peers. We look forward to being with you. Thank you so much for being community all together. I love this. Good night.